Just started university, and my beautiful tutor turns out to be the mother of my child. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1201. Those two little sisters seem to like you. Time passed quickly. The whole afternoon was spent in class. After class, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi said goodbye to Xiaoyu and the others. Then they got in the car. Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator, and the two of them went to their love nest. "Hubby, let's go to the supermarket to buy vegetables," Zhang Yuxi said to Lin Feng in the car. Wife, do you want to eat any vegetables?" Lin Feng said with a smile. I want to see if there's anything I want to eat. Then go home. Husband, can you teach me how to cook? My husband has always cooked for me, and I also want to learn how to cook, and then cook for my husband, Zhang Yuxi said. Hey. Okay. Then let's go to the supermarket, Lin Feng said with a smile. Then he turned around and went to the supermarket. The two arrived at the supermarket. Wife, what vegetables do you want to eat? Let's go buy them, Lin Feng said gently. Zhang Yuxi thought for a while and then said, Honey, buy whatever you want to eat. You're the one who taught me how to cook. She stuck out her tongue and looked very cute. Silly girl. As they spoke, the two of them came to the food area. Lin Feng skillfully selected the dishes. Looking at the food Lin Feng selected, Zhang Yuxi was slightly stunned. He selected all the things she liked to eat. Every single one. At this moment, Zhang Yuxi felt a surge of happiness in her heart. He agreed to teach her how to cook. He also selected all the things she liked to eat. Then, she also selected a few things that Lin Feng liked to eat and secretly put them into the shopping cart. Lin Feng smiled when he saw this scene. He did not stop Zhang Yuxi. He enjoyed this feeling very much. Of course, he did not take anything that Zhang Yuxi did not eat normally. People who love each other will always consider each other. Honey, I want to eat fish. Let's make pickled fish. Zhang Yuxi pointed to the lively grass cart next to her and said. Okay. Boss, please weigh this fish. Well, husband, we also want some chicken legs. We'll make fried chicken. Okay. Boss, weigh the chicken for me too. Husband, buy some pork too. We'll make boiled meat. Lin Feng was slightly stunned. This girl took all the things he liked to eat. Wife, it seems that everything you bought is what I love, Lin Feng said with a smile. Hey, I was originally going to make it for my husband. When I learn it, I will make my husband's favorite dishes every day, and I will definitely make you fat and white. Okay, then I must be made fat and white by you. Lin Feng smiled and pinched Zhang Yuxi's little nose, and said. He was very happy in his heart. The conversation between the two made the fishmonger envious. He subconsciously glanced at his wife who was busy at the side. He shook his head helplessly. If his wife really communicated with him like this beautiful girl in front of him, I'm afraid he wouldn't be able to sleep for 3 days. As the saying goes, a kiss between a middle-aged couple can cause nightmares for several nights. Prepare all the ingredients needed. Lin Feng picked a few more fruits and some snacks that Zhang Yuxi liked. Only then did he run to check out with satisfaction. Wow, look, handsome guy, he's so handsome. When Lin Feng was checking out, two young girls beside him were whispering and looking in the direction of Lin Feng. Yeah, isn't this a celebrity coming out? I haven't seen him on TV either. Oh my god, he's too handsome. The two women all showed crazy expressions. Shall we go get his contact information? One woman said. She wanted to step forward. The woman behind her hurriedly pulled her back. Forget it, look at the woman next to him, she's obviously his girlfriend. Oh my god, that woman is so beautiful too. As she said that, the woman pointed at Zhang Yuxi. The woman beside her looked at him. Suddenly, she lost her excitement just now. Suddenly, a feeling of jealousy surged in her heart. The woman in front of her was too beautiful. I am not comparable at all. No matter where I put her, she is absolutely a perfect beauty. With such a woman by his side, he would definitely look down on me. A sense of frustration arises spontaneously. The two were not far away from Lin Feng and Yuxi, although the voice was very low. But they still heard it. Lin Feng smiled awkwardly, turning his head to look at Zhang Yuxi on the side. At this time, Zhang Yuxi looked cute. Obviously, She was very happy to hear the two of them praising them. She didn't feel embarrassed because the woman was going to come over to ask for contact information. Which woman doesn't like to hear compliments? Husband, those two little sisters seem to like you. Zhang Yuxi said, sticking out her tongue mischievously. Don't talk nonsense. Let's go home and cook. After that, the two of them walked away with the purchased ingredients in large and small bags. The people around them were envious. A talented man and a beautiful woman, it is very appropriate to use it on the two of them. However, in today's society, a talented man and a beautiful woman don't seem to appear often. Whenever I see a beautiful woman, there must be a man who is totally different from her. A handsome man must be with a woman who is not very compatible with him. This is the way of the world. In the eyes of modern people, money, power, material things and a good life are the kingly way. A handsome man and a beautiful woman? In real life, it is no longer so important. The car was driving on the road. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng. Her big eyes blinked. Husband. Do you think I can be happy like this forever? Buy groceries together, cook together, and do what you like together? Zhang Yuxi asked. Lin Feng was stunned at first. Then he smiled. Silly girl, of course we can. We will definitely be happy. This life, no. In the next life, we will always be together and happy forever. Don't even think about escaping from my palm. Lin Feng answered seriously. Looking at Lin Feng who answered seriously, Zhang Yuxi had a happy smile on her face. She felt that she was the happiest woman in the world. The car soon arrived at the love nest of the two, and Lin Feng parked the car. Carrying all kinds of food in big and small bags, she returned home. As soon as she entered the house, Zhang Yuxi rushed into the kitchen. Lin Feng didn't react at once. After a while, Zhang Yuxi came out wearing a cooking apron. She was holding a cooking spatula in her hand. Obviously, the apron didn't match the beautiful woman in front of her. Especially the spatula in her hand. Silly girl, are you starting now? Lin Feng was also amused by Zhang Yuxi. This girl is cute in her bones. Chapter 1202 Zhang Yuxi learns to cook. Hey, husband, let's get started. I'm going to cook for you. Okay, let's go cook. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly. At this time, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were busy in the kitchen. The scene seemed very harmonious. Lin Feng was cutting various vegetables in an orderly manner. When he turned his head to look at Zhang Yuxi on the side, he suddenly felt funny. The picture at this time seemed to be frozen. Zhang Yuxi was staring at the grass carp she had just bought. At this time, the fish was swinging its tail up and down. Zhang Yuxi stared at the fish in front of her with a serious face. The shovel in her hand was facing the fish, and it seemed that she was ready to attack at any time. Lin Feng laughed and was amused by her cute appearance. Silly girl, let me do it. Lin Feng said with a smile. Husband, I can do it. As he said that, he seemed to have made up his mind. The two big watery eyes closed. Waving the shovel in his hand. Waving it randomly. The scene was extremely funny. After a moment, Zhang Yuxi slowly opened her eyes. Ah. Husband, it's so tenacious, it's still alive. Zhang Yuxi said in surprise, looking at the still lively fish in front of her. At this time, Lin Feng regretted not asking the fish seller to kill the fish and take it back. Silly girl, a shovel can't kill it, you have to use this. He raised a knife in his hand. Husband, do you want to use a knife? Will it hurt? Ha ha ha, silly girl, this is how we usually eat fish. Close your eyes for a while, I'll take care of it. At this time, Lin Feng decided to buy fish that must be killed in the future, and he was determined not to let Zhang Yuxi experience such a scene again. For someone who has never cooked, asking her to kill a fish is definitely a bit too much. Soon, a fish was cleaned up by Lin Feng. Zhang Yuxi was stunned. Husband, you are so good. Looking at Lin Feng's skillful movements, Zhang Yuxi exclaimed that it was amazing. Then Lin Feng washed the rice and cooked. Then he turned around and dealt with the chicken and some other side dishes. After cleaning the chicken, add the seasoning. Apply evenly and wait for the seasoning to absorb. Zhang Yuxi was stunned, watching intently for fear that she would miss any part. Honey, can I do something too? Can you teach me? Zhang Yuxi asked playfully. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's look, Lin Feng had to say. Honey, can you help me cut the garlic and ginger? They will be needed for cooking fish later. Do you know how to do it? Yes, you don't even know who I am. Then she started to get busy. But it looks easy, but for someone who has never been in the kitchen, whether she can do it is another matter. Seeing this silly girl being a little clumsy, Lin Feng also came behind Zhang Yuxi. Then he held Zhang Yuxi's hand holding the kitchen knife from behind her. Come on, husband will teach you, don't hurt your hand. Listening to Lin Feng's words, Zhang Yuxi felt sweet in her heart. First, do it like this, and then hold the knife like this, that's it, have you learned it? Lin Feng was very patient. Seeing Zhang Yuxi gradually master the skills, Lin Feng was relieved. He turned around and continued to deal with other dishes. However, after Lin Feng taught Zhang Yuxi how to cut vegetables, her movements became more and more skilled. She asked Lin Feng for several more vegetables and cut them slowly. After a while, honey, I've cut everything. Can you teach me how to cook? I want to learn how to cook, so that I can cook for you in the future. Zhang Yuxi said seriously. Obviously, the simple cutting of vegetables can no longer satisfy her desire to cook. Well, okay, then I'll teach you. Hearing Lin Feng's answer, Zhang Yuxi seemed very happy. I'll teach you how to stir-fry simple vegetables first. Lin Feng said, and put the vegetables that Zhang Yuxi had just cut into the plate. First, we have to wait for the pan to heat up, and then pour a little bit of oil, not too much. Some dishes need more oil, some need more. For green vegetables, just put a little less, be careful when putting it in, don't let the oil hurt it. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's serious look, Lin Feng also laughed. But he didn't ask her to cook directly, after all, if the oil hurt his wife, it would be bad. So Lin Feng played the role of on-site teaching. And Zhang Yuxi watched very seriously. Turn on the fire, add oil, put in the green vegetables, and then put in the necessary seasonings. 2 minutes later, a plate of delicious green vegetables came out of the pot. Wow, my husband is so amazing. Silly girl, cooking is simple. Lin Feng replied with a smile. Hubby, I want to try it too. Zhang Yuxi said. Lin Feng looked at it and saw that he needed eggs, so he beat a few eggs and handed them to Zhang Yuxi. Well, wife, you come to fry the eggs, but you have to be careful not to get hurt by the oil. Lin Feng opened his mouth and ordered. Yeah, got it, husband, I'll be careful. Zhang Yuxi nodded. Then, Lin Feng put the oil into the pot and waited for the oil temperature to rise. The oil temperature reached the temperature for cooking. Zhang Yuxi poured the eggs in the bowl into the pot. Hissa! Zhang Yuxi screamed. What's wrong? What's wrong? Did you get splashed by the oil? Lin Feng hurried forward, looking anxious and distressed. Wife, let's not do it anymore. I'll cook for you in the future. You just watch me do it. Lin Feng said gently. No, husband, I really want to learn. You must teach me, okay? Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with a begging look and said. Zhang Yuxi's character is not the kind of person who gives up just because he wants to. Since he wants to learn to cook, he must learn it. After all, when the two get married and have children in the future, she must learn to cook and be a good wife and a good mother. Cook for her beloved every day. Honey, don't do it anymore. I'll cook for you next time. Look, your hands are all red. You are my most beloved person. I don't want you to get hurt at all. Lin Feng said in an unquestionable tone. He looked at the place where Zhang Yuxi had just been rubbed by the oil. Lin Feng felt distressed and blew gently on his hand. This little fool. Lin Feng was unwilling to let his beloved woman get hurt at all. Seeing Lin Feng's nervous and distressed look, Zhang Yuxi showed a happy smile on her face. Honey, I want to do it again. I'm sure it will work this time. After all, I still have to learn how to cook in the future. I will cook for you and our children in the future. How can a mother not cook? Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng and said seriously. Hearing Zhang Yuxi's words, Lin Feng felt a warm current in his heart. This little fool is so cute and stubborn. Chapter 1203, Husband, what's wrong with me? Honey, please, Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Lin Feng really couldn't do anything with her, and couldn't persuade her. He carefully checked again, and found that the hand that was just splashed with oil was not seriously injured. He could only nod helplessly. Hey, honey, you are so nice. Zhang Yuxi's little face showed a smile again. Then Lin Feng took out a freshly washed lettuce. Garlic lettuce is a relatively simple dish, suitable for teaching novices. Honey, if you really want to learn, then let's start with the simple ones. Yes, I want to learn. Zhang Yuxi said firmly to Lin Feng. Okay, then you be careful this time. If you get hurt again, I won't teach you. Compared with cooking, My wife is much more important. Lin Feng said distressedly. Yes, honey, I will be careful. Zhang Yuxi said with a sweet smile. Come on, what should I do next? Zhang Yuxi said. Then Lin Feng began to teach Zhang Yuxi how to stir-fry vegetables. What to do after putting the vegetables in? Zhang Yuxi asked. Next, pour the salt. Lin Feng instructed. Hey, don't pour too much at once. Lin Feng said quickly. He saw that Zhang Yuxi was going to pour it, and quickly stopped her. Isn't there a small spoon in the salt pot? Use that to add it. About 1 spoonful will do. Zhang Yuxi also obediently dug a spoonful in. Then start to stir-fry the lettuce so that the salt can be evenly dispersed. Seeing that it was almost done, he said to Zhang Yuxi, Wife, it's almost done, then add the chopped garlic just now. After completing the last step, Lin Feng also helped Zhang Yuxi to take the pot off the stove. Husband, try what I made. Zhang Yuxi picked up a piece of green vegetable with chopsticks impatiently. Blow it carefully to the mouth, and then send it to Lin Feng's mouth. Okay, I'll try it. Lin Feng said with a smile. After that, he put the piece of lettuce into his mouth. To be honest, it's okay. For beginners, it's delicious. After all, it's Zhang Yuxi's first time cooking, so she can't ask for too much. Okay, my wife, you try it too. It's really good. It seems that you have the potential to cook. Lin Feng praised Zhang Yuxi without hesitation. After all, his wife also needs encouragement. Hearing Lin Feng's praise, Zhang Yuxi also tasted the food she cooked. Unexpectedly, the taste was beyond her expectations. Although she couldn't compare with Lin Feng's cooking skills, she was a little satisfied with her first cooking, and her confidence was greatly increased. My husband taught me well, Zhang Yuxi said with satisfaction. At the same time, she didn't forget to flatter Lin Feng. Zhang Yuxi was very happy that she succeeded in her first cooking. Okay, I'll start the pickled fish. My wife, come and learn it. Lin Feng smiled and said. Compared with the previous dish, the method of pickled fish is a little difficult and the process is very complicated. Lin Feng didn't expect Zhang Yuxi to learn it all at once. Looking at Lin Feng's skillful movements, Zhang Yuxi's expression was serious. This seems a bit complicated, husband. Zhang Yuxi's little face was full of embarrassment. Little fool, just watch, I'll do it. Lin Feng said comfortingly. Soon, a delicious pickled fish was ready, and the fragrant smell of the dish made Zhang Yuxi call her husband amazing. Do you still want to learn? Lin Feng asked. I wanted to interrupt this silly girl's cooking idea with a complicated dish. Who knew that Zhang Yuxi nodded seriously? Well, husband, continue. Zhang Yuxi nodded. There was no way. Lin Feng started the next order. Boiled pork slices. Heat the oil in a pan, another skillful movement. Zhang Yuxi looked very serious. At the same time, Lin Feng was also explaining every step and process. He didn't feel nagging because of the various questions raised by Zhang Yuxi. He patiently explained every step. As a stream of hot oil was poured on the dish, the fragrance immediately filled the whole room. Lin Feng picked up a piece of meat, blew it gently, and passed it to Zhang Yuxi's mouth. Wow, it's delicious, husband, you are so great. I will do the same as you in the future and cook many dishes for you. Zhang Yuxi said with admiration. Then, under Lin Feng's guidance, Zhang Yuxi tried to cook a few more dishes. When she finished the 6th one, Lin Feng stopped Zhang Yuxi who was about to start again and said. Wife, there are already 6 dishes, we have enough to eat, if there are more, it will be a waste. 6 already? Well, let's do it next time. Lin Feng said helplessly. Zhang Yuxi reluctantly put down the spatula, washed her hands, and pulled Lin Feng to the dining table. 5 dishes and 1 soup, very rich. Zhang Yuxi was particularly happy with this meal. Because this was her first time cooking for her beloved. Although Lin Feng had to instruct her to make it successfully, he was still very happy. All the food was swept away. Seeing Lin Feng eating the dishes she cooked, Zhang Yuxi was moved. Although the food she cooked was edible, it was definitely not as delicious as Lin Feng's. But Lin Feng didn't say anything, instead he ate it with big mouthfuls, saying it was delicious. Zhang Yuxi was very moved. After the two finished their meal, Zhang Yuxi took the initiative to ask her to wash the dishes. Lin Feng couldn't do anything about her, so he had to agree. So there was this scene. Zhang Yuxi was wearing an apron and dishwashing gloves while washing the dishes. Lin Feng stood aside and looked at Zhang Yuxi gently. His eyes were full of love. Lin Feng gently hugged Zhang Yuxi from behind. Your beard pricked me. Hubby, stop it. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Hey. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing. It was mainly because Lin Feng's beard made her neck itchy. Zhang Yuxi finished washing the dishes with difficulty. Then the two went out to the sofa in the living room to watch TV together. Hubby, you're such a bad guy. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and suddenly said. Hubby, what's wrong with me? Lin Feng said with a puzzled look on his face. I was washing dishes just now, and you poked me with your beard. Hurry up and shave your beard. Hubby. Don't do that next time. Otherwise, you'll be responsible for all the dishes at home from now on. Zhang Yuxi glared at Lin Feng and said. Oh, this little fool. Okay, I'll be responsible for all the dishes at home from now on. But, before Lin Feng finished speaking, he rushed towards Zhang Yuxi. Before Zhang Yuxi could react, she was rushed by Lin Feng. Hubby, what are you doing? Hey. Zhang Yuxi giggled. Tickling me. Ha ha ha. Lin Feng said while laughing. It's so itchy. Wow, ha ha ha. Zhang Yuxi laughed out loud because of Lin Feng's tickling. She was most afraid of being tickled by Raymond Lam. Chapter 1204, Sudden Desire to Survive. Arwahaha. Hey. Zhang Yuxi laughed continuously. Hubby, I was wrong. Wahaha. Hubby, I was wrong, I will wash the dishes from now on. Ha ha. I can't stand it. Zhang Yuxi begged for mercy. Lin Feng saw that Zhang Yuxi was about to laugh, so he slowly stopped. Ha ha. Little fool, will you dare to do it again in the future? Lin Feng looked like he had succeeded in his evil plan and smiled at Zhang Yuxi. Oh, huh? You bullied me. I'm going to tell my parents that you bullied me. You want me to wash the dishes, cook, mop the floor and wash clothes? Zhang Yuxi said one by one. Oh, wife, you are wrongly accusing a good person. Lin Feng said helplessly. I don't care. Who told you to bully me? Zhang Yuxi said with a proud look on her face. Oh, wife, you are unreasonable. Lin Feng said. Humph. I just don't make sense. What can you do to me? Besides, you still want to reason with your own wife? Do you want a wife, or do you want reason? Zhang Yuxi said with an unreasonable look. Lin Feng. I want my wife, I want my wife. My wife is always right. Whatever my wife says is what it is. I will listen to my wife. Lin Feng's desire to survive came up. He hurriedly coaxed her. Humph. You know what's good for you. Zhang Yuxi said with a smug look on her face. Lin Feng wiped the sweat from his forehead. This silly girl. She has taken advantage of her. She usually looks silly, but I didn't expect that she would be able to do this. Lin Feng smiled and took Zhang Yuxi into his arms. Silly wife, how could your husband bear to let you do this? I hold you in my hands for fear of falling, and I hold you in my mouth for fear of melting. You are so precious. You are the apple of my husband's eye. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with a loving face and said in a mushy way. Ran. Hubby, you're so corny. Although Zhang Yuxi said she disliked him, she was very happy in her heart. And she knew that what Lin Feng said was true. Because that's how Lin Feng treated her. How can this be corny? Everything your husband said is the truth. Lin Feng said shamelessly. Puff. He. Zhang Yuxi laughed happily. You are so sweet, let me see if you put honey on it. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said. Ha ha ha. It is indeed honey on it. Silly wife. Lin Feng said with a half smile on his face. Humph. I don't want it. Zhang Yuxi snorted. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's cute woman appearance, Lin Feng couldn't help but hug her tighter. Hubby, I can't breathe. Zhang Yuxi got out of Lin Feng's arms. Hubby, let me ask you. If we have a baby in the future, will you still love me like this? Zhang Yuxi suddenly looked at Lin Feng with a serious look and said. Little fool, of course I will. Hubby, I will only love you more and more. As for the baby, of course I love it too. But, in my heart, no one can replace my wife. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's little nose and said with a doting face. Hey. Then from now on, my husband will take care of 2 babies. Zhang Yuxi said mischievously. Oh. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment, then reacted. Ha ha ha. Yes, from now on, my husband will take care of 2 babies. One is the little baby, and the other is my wife, you big baby. Lin Feng said without hesitation. Hubby, You are so good. I feel like the happiest woman in the world. Zhang Yuxi said with a happy face. Little fool. This is just the beginning. In the future, we will be so happy every day, every minute and every second. Lin Feng said softly and tenderly. This is just the beginning. We will be so happy every day, every minute and every second in the future. Lin Feng said softly and tenderly. Zhang Yuxi was moved by Lin Feng's words. At this moment, she really felt that he was the happiest woman in the world. Husband, I suddenly feel that I am so lucky to meet you in the last 100 days of high school. Now think about it, I was still indifferent to you at that time. Of course you gave up on me, what should I do? Zhang Yuxi said in retrospect. Little fool, no. Even if you always ignored me at that time, I would always insist on it. Because I have already determined you for this life. No matter where you run to, I will catch you back. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and said with a gentle and domineering face. Husband, thank you. Thank you for your love for me all the time. For your tolerance of me. We will definitely be fine in the future. As long as you are by my side, I am not afraid of anything. Zhang Yuxi threw herself into Lin Feng's arms and said happily. It's still early. Then the two hugged each other and watched TV. At this time, a TV series was playing on TV. It was a new TV series that came out 2 days ago, called The King of Gourmet Food. It was a show about cooking. Lin Feng turned his head and looked at Zhang Yuxi. Would this silly girl really plan to cook every day? At this time, Zhang Yuxi was watching the actor's hard work in the TV series intently. Lin Feng was very upset. At this time, the two people on TV were competing in cooking. It was even more exaggerated than Stephen Chow's God of Cookery. This was not cooking at all. It was just like a martial arts competition. Husband, look at how good they are at cooking. I wish I could be that good. But they are still not as good as my husband. Zhang Yuxi turned her head and stuck out her tongue at Lin Feng, saying mischievously. At this time, Lin Feng smiled bitterly. This is much more exaggerated than his. It's completely a real-life version of the cooking master boy. If cooking is the same as in this TV series, wouldn't it be a mess? Well, wife, don't learn from them, it's all fake. Lin Feng said helplessly. Raymond Lam feels that recent directors are unscrupulous in order to set an example. They just invite a few popular stars. They are paid sky-high salaries. Their acting is unbearable to watch. This is also the reason why our Raymond Lam doesn't watch TV programs very often. He shook his head. He was secretly thinking. Should I try to enter the film and television industry in the future? Make some meaningful movies and TV series. There are too many TV programs that mislead young people now. Many good actors are paid low salaries, but their acting skills are enough to kill a group of popular stars. It is said that some old TV national treasure actors have a very bad life. Looking at these popular stars, they can earn more money than ordinary people can earn in their lifetime just by showing their faces. Raymond Lam feels that the times are progressing, but mankind is regressing. Chapter 1205, Is this thing as beautiful as your wife? Wow, husband, look, that chef has twins, so cute. I want them too. Zhang Yuxi's voice interrupted Lin Feng's thoughts. Lin Feng came back to his senses and turned to look at the characters on TV. Sure enough, a pair of twin children were cheering for their cooking godfather. Looking at Zhang Yuxi's eager expression, Lin Feng smiled faintly. Haha, okay, wife, let's go, let's do some preliminary work. Lin Feng said nonsense seriously without trying to be bold. Listening to Lin Feng's words, Zhang Yuxi said shyly. Hate it, husband. But, those two babies are really cute. Zhang Yuxi's eyes lit up, and her whole body was full of maternal love. Then let's have a baby of our own, okay? One is not enough, let's give birth to a football team. Lin Feng said with a smile. Ah, so many, and, husband, isn't it too early to have a baby now? Zhang Yuxi said shyly, looking at Lin Feng seriously. Looking at Zhang Yuxi's cute and serious look, Lin Feng felt funny in his heart. Silly girl, it's a little early to have a baby now. After we graduate, when you are ready, we will consider it again. Don't worry, your husband is always ready. Lin Feng said gently. Hearing Lin Feng say that he was always ready, Zhang Yuxi blushed. Humph, you big bad guy, I won't pay attention to you. I'm going to take a shower. Zhang Yuxi got up and ran away. That's right, ran away. Looking at Zhang Yuxi's fleeing back, Lin Feng couldn't help laughing. This little fool. They are already an old couple. They still blush and get shy so easily. After Zhang Yuxi ran upstairs, Lin Feng leaned gently on the sofa. Huh? Go to school every day, occasionally deal with company matters. Accompany Zhang Yuxi to class every day. Such days are plain and warm. Lin Feng is enjoying the current stability now. Lin Feng picked up the red panda cigarette on the table and flicked one out of the cigarette box. Paw inhale. Huff. Lin Feng took a deep breath, then felt the smoke swirling in his chest, and then exhaled a long breath. What a taste. One word. Cool. After smoking a cigarette, Lin Feng put the cigarette butt in the ash shed and extinguished it. After sitting for about 10 minutes, Lin Feng estimated that Zhang Yuxi should have finished her shower by now. So he turned off the TV and went upstairs. Sure enough, Zhang Yuxi had finished washing up at this time. She was sitting in front of the dressing table doing skincare. Lin Feng smiled, picked up his pajamas and went into the bathroom to take a shower. After taking a shower, Lin Feng came out of the bathroom wiping his hair. He found that Zhang Yuxi, the little fool, was still watching the TV show just now on the projector. Lin Feng was a little amused. This silly girl. Are you serious? Exclamation mark. So he had to watch it with her. After watching an episode of the TV series, Lin Feng didn't let Zhang Yuxi continue watching. After all, is this thing as beautiful as his wife? Exclamation mark. So he turned off the computer and projector, and returned to bed. After that, it was getting late. The two turned off the lights and went to bed. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi fell asleep in each other's arms. They soon fell asleep. The next morning, Lin Feng was still dazed when he heard someone calling him. He slowly opened his eyes, and Zhang Yuxi's pretty face appeared in his sight. Big lazy pig, get up. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with a smile and said, Huh? Wife, are you awake? Lin Feng said softly with a smile on his face. Yes, husband, get up quickly. I've made breakfast. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly, pulled Lin Feng's arm, and said. The soft touch on his arm made Lin Feng wake up instantly. Lin Feng exerted a little force, and Zhang Yuxi fell into his arms. Oh hubby, stop and get up quickly. Breakfast won't taste good if it gets cold. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Seeing Zhang Yuxi struggling, Lin Feng didn't plan to tease her anymore. So Zhang Yuxi took the opportunity to get out of Lin Feng's arms. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at him, then coquettishly pulled Lin Feng up. Lin Feng glanced at the alarm clock on the bedside. It was already 6:30 in the morning, and it was getting late. It was time to get up. So the two of them went to wash up. After washing up, they came to the restaurant downstairs. At this time, there was a small pot of preserved egg and lean meat porridge and a few side dishes on the table. And it looked very good. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Wife, did you make all these? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and said. Yes. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly, then nodded her head. Lin Feng looked at the side dishes on the table. He was touched. He had just taught her how to cook yesterday, and today he couldn't wait to make breakfast. Looking at this, I don't know what time this little fool got up. Lin Feng has been busy for a long time. Hubby, try it quickly and see if there's any progress. Zhang Yuxi pulled Lin Feng to sit down, and then said with expectation. Lin Feng smiled slightly, then picked up the chopsticks on the table and put a chopstick of food into his mouth. Zhang Yuxi held her chin with both hands and looked at Lin Feng nervously. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Wife, it's delicious. Lin Feng said with a thumbs up. This time he didn't lie, the taste is indeed much better than the last time. It seems that this little fool is really attentive. When Zhang Yuxi heard Lin Feng's words, the nervous expression on her face slowly relaxed. A sweet smile appeared on her face. What Lin Feng didn't know was that Zhang Yuxi got up at more than 4 o'clock this morning. After scorching several servings of green vegetables in a row, these side dishes were made. The porridge was simple to make, because Zhang Yuxi had made this porridge last time and had experience. At this moment, Zhang Yuxi was very happy to get Lin Feng's recognition and praise. Her hard work was not in vain. This is a good start. My dear wife, thank you for your hard work. Lin Feng put down the chopsticks in his hand, looked at Zhang Yuxi tenderly and said. He knew that this little fool must have gotten up very early. Husband, I am not hardworking. Hey. Eat quickly, we still have to go to school after eating. Zhang Yuxi said. Okay. Today, I have to drink a few more bowls of porridge. The breakfast made by my dear wife is delicious. Lin Feng said with a smile. Zhang Yuxi happily helped Lin Feng to make a bowl of porridge. Then the two of them ate breakfast happily. It was already around 7 o'clock in the morning after breakfast. The two went upstairs to change clothes. After Zhang Yuxi simply tidied up her makeup, the two took their backpacks and went out. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1206, Being Targeted. Arriving at the underground parking garage, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi got in the car. When Lin Feng helped Zhang Yuxi fasten her seat belt, he inadvertently caught a glimpse of a black shadow in the rearview mirror, which seemed to be hiding not far away and observing him. Lin Feng paused, then returned to normal. This didn't seem to be someone sent by his uncle. I wonder if this car has been tampered with. Lin Feng thought to himself. He remained calm. Wife, I'll get off the car and take a look at the car. It seems there is something wrong. Lin Feng casually said to Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi nodded without doubting him. Then Lin Feng got out of the car. He took out his mobile phone calmly and called his uncle Zhou Zhenhua, while casually checking to see if the car had been tampered with. After checking around, Lin Feng found that everything was normal. The call was also connected. Lin Feng leaned against the car door and told his third uncle about the situation here. Zhou Zhenhua assured him that there were always people hiding in the dark to protect him. That person should have been in the surveillance side of the secret sentry. After finishing the call, Lin Feng pretended to squat down to tie his shoelaces and look towards the shadow. The person was gone. Lin Feng clapped his hands and returned to the car. Honey, is the car okay? If not, let's take a taxi. Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng sitting back in the car. She looked at Lin Feng and said, It's okay, a small problem. I fixed it. Let's go. Lin Feng smiled at Zhang Yuxi and said. He still didn't plan to tell Zhang Yuxi about this, after all, this matter. He didn't want Zhang Yuxi to worry. Then Lin Feng started the car. Boom. The car engine roared. Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator and set off. At the moment when Lin Feng's car drove out of the underground parking lot, the shadow that had just disappeared appeared again. He was about to get in the car and follow Lin Feng. But suddenly several people appeared and surrounded him. Don't move. Don't move if you don't want to die. A plainclothes man in the lead spoke. And this man saw that he couldn't escape, so he raised his hand to invest. No way. Several guns were pointed at him, and the gleaming muzzles told him that this was no joke. His life was at stake. Then, a group of people surrounded him and tied him up. He stuffed him into a car. 2 people got in the car and took the man away. The rest of the people got in another car and quickly caught up with Lin Feng. Lin Feng's black Mercedes-Benz G-Class drove out of the community. Soon they arrived at the city road. It was rush hour, and there was a lot of traffic on the road. With Lin Feng's master-level driving skills, the car kept shuttling through the traffic, taking advantage of every opportunity. Soon, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi arrived at the teaching building of the School of Finance of Tsinghua University and Peking University. After Lin Feng parked the car, he and Zhang Yuxi got out of the car. As soon as he got out of the car, Lin Feng's cell phone rang. Quietly holding the blue and white token and keeping the promise, parting is always spent in frustration. Lin Feng paused and signaled Zhang Yuxi that he wanted to answer the phone. So Lin Feng took out his cell phone and took a look. The number displayed on the phone was from his third uncle Zhou Zhenhua. Lin Feng thought it was probably about what happened just now. So he looked at Zhang Yuxi. Then he took the phone and walked to the side and pressed the answer button. Hello, third uncle. Is it about what happened just now? Lin Feng spoke to the phone. Well, Lin Feng, the matter just now has been resolved. Don't worry. After finding out the person behind it, I will tell you what happens next. Just go to class first. Zhou Zhenhua on the other end of the phone said. Well, third uncle, I know. Lin Feng nodded and said. Then the two hung up the phone. Lin Feng thought about it. This efficiency is really fast. It seems that there are many people around him who are secretly watching. I guess even if there is no phone call from me, that person can't get away. Lin Feng smiled and walked towards Zhang Yuxi with the phone. Honey, what's wrong? Zhang Yuxi said. Nothing, a call from my third uncle. Some company matters. Lin Feng said casually. He didn't want Zhang Yuxi to know about this. To save Zhang Yuxi from worrying. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded without doubt. Okay, wife, let's go upstairs to the classroom. Lin Feng said with a smile. Okay. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly. Then the two went upstairs hand in hand. When they arrived at the classroom, there were still only a few people. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi found a seat and sat down casually. The two sat down and talked casually. As time passed. After a while, more and more people came into the classroom. Soon, the professor also came in with a textbook. After the roll call, today's class began. A morning passed quickly in class. After lunch with Chen Donggyun and others at noon, Lin Feng received a call from his third uncle Zhou Zhangguo. Zhou Zhangguo didn't say much on the phone, but just asked him to go to the military district family compound in the afternoon. Lin Feng agreed without hesitation. Wife, I have to go to my uncle's place this afternoon. So, I won't be with you in class this afternoon. I'll pick you up after class. Lin Feng said to Zhang Yuxi. Honey, what's wrong? Is there something wrong? Zhang Yuxi said softly. Smart as she was, she found that something was wrong. So she asked. Little fool, nothing's wrong. It's just Grandpa's place. I have to go check on him. Confirm the situation. Lin Feng rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head and said softly and tenderly. Oh. Although Zhang Yuxi was a little confused, she didn't think about it anymore. She nodded. So, after sending Zhang Yuxi to school in the afternoon, Lin Feng drove all the way to the military district family compound. After parking the car, Lin Feng got out. Pushing open the door of the small courtyard, Lin Feng walked through the courtyard and walked into the hall. At this time, Zhou Zhangguo and Zhou Zhenhe were sitting on the sofa in the living room waiting for Lin Feng. Lin Feng walked over. Uncle. Lin Feng greeted them. Yes. Lin Feng, you're here. Lin Feng's two uncles said. Sit down first. Wait a minute, your second uncle will come back, let's talk together. Zhou Zhangguo said. Okay. Lin Feng nodded. Then he sat down on the sofa. Lin Feng didn't expect that his second uncle would also come back. It seems that this matter is more serious than he thought. Lin Feng thought to himself. Not long after, Zhou Zhanbang, who was dressed in military uniform and dusty, walked in. Third brother, Lin Feng, you are all here. Zhou Zhanbang said. Second uncle. Lin Feng said with a smile. Then the four of them came to the study and sat down. Lin Feng started to make tea. There was no way, because those three were Lin Feng's elders. So, the job of serving tea and pouring water fell on him. Chapter 1207 Putting things on the table. After making tea, they started to talk about business. Old three, tell me about what happened today. Zhou Zhangguo looked at Zhou Zhenhe and said. Yes. This morning, Lin Feng found someone spying on him in the underground parking lot of the community. So, the people who had been following Lin Feng took him down. After interrogation, it was a Sakura countryman. As for the purpose of following Lin Feng, it was because of the old man's matter. After interrogating for a long time, I couldn't get anything out of it. The only thing that can be confirmed is that it was because Lin Feng cured the old man. The news leaked out. Zhou Zhenhe told what happened this morning. After hearing what Zhou Zhenhe said, Zhou Zhanbang, who had a hot temper, exploded instantly. Damn it. It must be those dogs from the Li family. They are traitors. Zhou Zhanbang said angrily. Old two, calm down. Don't talk nonsense before there is solid evidence. Zhou Zhangguo glared at Zhou Zhanbang and said. Zhou Zhanbang glanced at his eldest brother and stopped talking. What is certain is that, at present, they don't know about the longevity potion. They followed Lin Feng, probably because Lin Feng knows Chinese medicine. After all, many people know about the first time Lin Feng treated the old man. Zhou Zhenhe continued. Well, there were more people that time, and many people did know that the old man was rescued by Lin Feng. Zhou Zhangguo nodded. Brother, if you ask me, if they go directly to the door, it must be those families who are doing it. Zhou Zhanbang said irritably. Zhou Zhangguo glanced at his second brother. This guy, with such a temper, he doesn't know how to restrain himself for so many years. He has strong limbs and a simple mind. If the Zhou family was handed over to him, it would have been eaten up long ago. Zhou Zhangguo thought secretly in his heart. At this time, Lin Feng was quietly listening to the conversation between his three uncles. He was not in a hurry to express his own ideas. After all, in this kind of matter, the old ones are still the best. My eldest uncle and third uncle, one is in the system and the other in the business world. They have been working hard for so long. For this kind of thing. They are all old silver coins. It's right to listen to them. Third brother, what do you think? Zhang Yuxi looked at his third brother and said, Brother, I think they should only be in the trial stage at present. After all, they don't know the real situation of the old man at present. However, if Lin Feng's longevity potion comes out, I guess they will associate it. That will be the real trouble. Zhang Yuxi knocked on the table and pondered. Well, you are right. At present, they really haven't figured out the situation. However, Lin Feng's simplified longevity potion will be announced to the public sooner or later. After all, this is a good thing that benefits the country and the people. It's not a solution to keep suppressing it. We have to face it. Zhang Yuxi said. Well, several people nodded in agreement. So, what should we do next? Zhang said. Well, second brother, pick a few special operations experts from the army, and have a few of them follow Lin Feng. Then arrange a few more to go to Qingchang City to watch over my younger sister and the others. As for the previous secret guards, keep them. Just in case they are desperate. Zhang Yuxi thought for a while and said. Well. Zhang nodded. This is easy. He has plenty of people. After saying that, Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng, the simplified version of your longevity potion is now in mass production. When it is announced, say that it was developed together with your Zhou group. Talk to your third uncle about the specific operation. Don't they want to know? Then let's just put this matter on the table. Zhang Yuxi said word by word. Okay. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other and said in unison. They knew what Zhang Yuxi meant. Announce this potion to the public and put the matter on the table. At that time, under the operation of the country, no one from foreign countries can interfere. As for the shady tricks and secret, in China, especially in Beijing, no one can escape the eyes of the Zhou family. The four of them chatted in the study for a whole afternoon. Finally, the matter was finalized. Seeing that it was getting late, Zhang Yuxi suggested a family dinner tonight. After all, Zhang finally came back. Then, Uncle, I'll go to Tsinghua University and pick up Yuxi first. Lin Feng said. Okay. You go. Be careful on the road. By the way, you can pick up your cousins at the attached middle school on the way. Zhang Yuxi said. Okay. Lin Feng nodded. After that, he got up and walked out of the study. The three brothers Zhang Yuxi continued to talk in the study. As for what they were talking about, Lin Feng didn't know. He didn't want to know. Just leave these things to them to worry about. Anyway, I can't get a word in if I stay. The level is not enough. They are all old silver coins. After Lin Feng got in the car, he drove all the way to the teaching building of the School of Finance of Tsinghua University. At this time, it was time to get out of school in the afternoon. On the way, Lin Feng had sent a message to Zhang Yuxi in advance. They agreed to wait downstairs. When Lin Feng drove to the teaching building, Zhang Yuxi was already standing at the place where Lin Feng usually parked his car waiting for him. Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng's black Mercedes-Benz G from a distance. A slight smile appeared on his face. Lin Feng slowly stopped the car. He opened the door and got out. Wife, have you been waiting for a long time? Lin Feng said softly. No. It's not long since get out of class was over. I stayed in the classroom for a while. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Yes. Get in the car. Let's go to my uncle's house for dinner tonight. My second uncle is back from the army. Lin Feng said. Yes. My second uncle is back. Zhang Yuxi said. Yes. I came back this afternoon. I discussed some things with them this afternoon. Look, they said they haven't seen you for a long time and asked us to come over for dinner. Oh, by the way, we have to pick up my cousins from the affiliated high school on the way. Let's go. Lin Feng said. Okay. Zhang Yuxi smiled and nodded. Although she and Lin Feng haven't married yet, they are already engaged. And the Zhou family has already regarded her as a member of the family. Anyway, the whole family is very harmonious. Zhang Yuxi is also very happy. Lin Feng opened the car door and the two got on the car. After Lin Feng helped Zhang Yuxi fasten her seat belt, the two set off. After Lin Feng drove the car out of Tsinghua University and Peking University, he headed towards the affiliated high school. On the way, he received messages from several cousins saying that they were waiting for him at the school gate. So Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator to speed up, constantly shuttling in the traffic. This superb posture technique is really not covered. About 10 minutes later, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi drove to the gate of the affiliated high school. Chapter 1208, Good Things That Benefit the Country and the People. Lin Feng was sitting in the car, and he saw several cousins standing at the school gate from a distance. So he slowly stopped the car beside them. "Hey little beauties, get in the car." Lin Feng opened the car window and said with a smile, "Hey, cousin Lin Feng." Lin Feng's cousin shouted in surprise, "Well, it's me, get in the car. I'll take you home." Lin Feng got out of the car and opened the back door and said. After the cousins got in the car, Lin Feng closed the door and sat back in the driver's seat. "Hello, sister-in-law Yuxi." Lin Feng's cousins chirped. "Hello." Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly and responded. Then, Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator, and the Mercedes-Benz G drove quickly into the traffic and headed towards the military district family compound. "Cousin Lin Feng, why are you here to pick us up today?" Lin Feng's cousins chirped and asked. "Oh, I happen to be here today, so my uncle asked me to come and pick you up. By the way, my second uncle and the others are back too. We're having a family dinner tonight," Lin Feng explained casually. Oh. Lin Feng's little cousins nodded. Then they chatted with Zhang Yuxi. And Lin Feng smiled and drove seriously. Lin Feng's superb driving skills allowed him to shuttle through the traffic. Soon they arrived at the military district family compound. They drove all the way to the small courtyard where Zhou Zhengguo was. After parking the car, Lin Feng got out of the car, opened the door, and took the little cousins down one by one. Several little cousins swarmed into the yard. Lin Feng smiled and shook his head, then took Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked in. As soon as they entered the living room, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi saw several aunts sitting on the sofa. And Lin Feng's cousins were also sitting aside chatting. "And, cousin, hello." Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi greeted with a smile. "Hey, Lin Feng, Yuxi, you are here. Come and sit down," Lin Feng's aunt Su Qingqing said with a smile. Then Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi walked to the sofa and sat down. "Lin Feng, Yuxi, I haven't seen you for a while. How are you two doing recently?" Lin Feng's third aunt said with a smile. "It's been fine recently, I have classes every day, Lin Feng replied with a smile. Then the few of them chatted about family matters. "By the way, and, where are my uncles?" Lin Feng looked around and didn't see Zhou Zhengguo and the others, so he asked. "Oh, your uncle is in the study. Your second uncle and third uncle went to pick up your grandparents. You can go to the study to find your uncle," Su Qingqing said. "Oh. Then I'll go to the study." After Lin Feng finished speaking, he got up and walked towards the study. Zhang Yuxi was pulled over by Lin Feng's cousins to talk about some private topics of girls. Knock, knock, knock. Lin Feng knocked gently on the study door. "Come in." The voice of Lin Feng's uncle Zhou Zhengguo came from the study. Lin Feng pushed open the study door and walked in. But Zhou Zhengguo was writing calligraphy at the desk. He looked up at Lin Feng and motioned him to sit anywhere. Then he continued to write his own calligraphy with his head down. About 10 minutes later, Zhou Zhengguo put down the brush in his hand. He looked at the words on the table with satisfaction. "Lin Feng, come here and take a look at this calligraphy," Zhou Zhengguo greeted casually. Oh. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment, then got up and walked to the desk. "A clear conscience." Lin Feng read softly. "Well, what do you think of this calligraphy?" Zhou Zhengguo looked at Lin Feng calmly and said. "Oh, I think the writing style of this character is strong and powerful, and the ink penetrates the paper. Look at its color, its shape, its thickness, dryness and wetness, its disconnection and connection, its thickness, thinness, concealment and exposure, all of which are infinitely variable and magnificent." Lin Feng thought for a while and said. Hearing what Lin Feng said, Zhou Zhengguo's eyes lit up. Then he nodded with satisfaction. He is worthy of being the top scorer in the National College entrance examination. Not bad, not bad. After Lin Feng finished speaking, he looked at Zhou Zhengguo. "Uncle, I was just talking casually. Don't be offended if I'm wrong," Lin Feng said. "It's okay, it's well said." Zhou Zhengguo nodded. Then the two sat on the coffee table in the study and drank tea. Lin Feng, I didn't have time to ask you today. Do you have any different opinions on my arrangement of this longevity potion? Zhang said. Oh, I don't have any opinions. Uncle, you guys can make the arrangements. It doesn't matter to me. In fact, in my opinion, it doesn't matter whether this longevity potion is announced to the public or not. I don't have any big ambitions. As long as our family and the people around us are all safe. But if possible, it's okay to put this potion on the market. After all, this thing can really save a lot of lives. Just like the words you wrote just now, Uncle. It's good to have a clear conscience. Lin Feng thought for a while and said. This is what he really thinks in his heart. After all, if the matter of this longevity potion causes any danger to the people around him, then Lin Feng would rather that this longevity potion will never be put on the market. Anyway, everyone around him has taken it. As for other people, save them if you can. Lin Feng is not that great to sacrifice himself to save others. Yet, that's the way it should be. However, wait until your uncle has made the arrangements. This simplified version of the longevity potion should be announced to the public. After all, this is a good thing that benefits the country and the people. Zhang said. Yet, everything is arranged by you uncles. I have no objection. Lin Feng said casually after taking a sip of tea. At this time, a burst of mocking noises came from outside the study. Then, the door of the study was pushed open by Zhang. Brother, Lin Feng, my parents have already taken it over. It's almost done, let's start the meal. Zhang said. Okay. Zhang nodded. Then he stood up and walked outside with Lin Feng. Lin Feng and Zhang walked out of the study. At this time, Zhang and others were all sitting on the sofa in the living room, talking and laughing. Lin Feng and Zhang walked over. Grandpa, Grandma. Lin Feng said with a smile. Lin Feng. I was just talking about you. Why haven't you come to see Grandpa for so long? Zhang said with an unhappy look. Oh, Grandpa, I've been busy with classes recently. That's why I came here as soon as I had time. Lin Feng walked up to Zhang and said with a smile. You. I can't do anything about you, kid. Zhang smiled helplessly. Chapter 1209, People Arranged by Uncle. Dad, Mom, let's eat first. Zhang said at this time. Okay, let's eat first and chat while eating. Zhang said with a smile. He was really happy. When he was in good health, he could eat anything. The family came to the restaurant. At this time, the table was full of delicious food. After the family sat down, they started to eat. After a meal, everyone talked and laughed, and the scene was very harmonious. After dinner, Lin Feng and Zhang and others ate and chatted on the sofa in the living room. They chatted until more than 9 o'clock in the evening, and then Lin Feng got up and said goodbye. Lin Feng, be careful on the road. Outside the small courtyard, Zhang looked at Lin Feng with a serious face and said. Okay, don't worry, uncle. Lin Feng nodded. After that, he and Zhang Yuxi got into their black Mercedes-Benz G. After waving goodbye, Lin Feng started the car, stepped on the accelerator, and soon drove to the military district family compound. Honey, I haven't been so relaxed for a long time. I'm a little homesick. Zhang Yuxi suddenly said while looking at the night outside the car window. Well, let's go home after a while. Lin Feng turned his head and glanced at Zhang Yuxi, and said softly and tenderly. Yeah, well. Zhang Yuxi nodded. Just then, Lin Feng suddenly saw a car in the rearview mirror, following closely behind him. Question mark? It doesn't look like someone arranged by Zhang. Is someone following him? Lin Feng thought of a lot at once. He remained calm and stepped on the accelerator lightly. The car instantly accelerated and shuttled through the traffic. And the car behind Lin Feng was still following closely. The driving skills looked quite good. Lin Feng's face turned cold. The master-level car driving skills started instantly. He stepped on the accelerator to the bottom, and the Mercedes-Benz G merged into the traffic at a high speed. And Zhang Yuxi also felt something was wrong. Honey, what's wrong? Why are you driving so fast? Zhang Yuxi asked with a puzzled look on her face. Oh. It's okay, a car seems to be following us. Let me see if it is. Lin Feng said casually. Zhang Yuxi's heart skipped a beat. Someone is following them? But when she saw that Lin Feng was not nervous, she was quietly relieved. Honey, are you okay? Zhang Yuxi said with some worry. It's okay, don't worry. Your husband is here. Lin Feng freed up one hand and gently shook Zhang Yuxi's hand. Honey, sit tight. I'll speed up and get rid of him. Lin Feng said in a calm tone. Then he stepped on the accelerator again. The engine of the Mercedes-Benz G roared. It disappeared in the traffic in an instant. This time, the car following Lin Feng couldn't keep up at all. Honey, it's okay, I got rid of it. Lin Feng looked straight ahead and said. Yes, honey, why are they following us? Zhang Yuxi said in confusion. Well, about the longevity potion. I'll tell you later when I get back. Lin Feng said. Since Zhang Yuxi already knows about it, this matter can't be concealed. So tell her later. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded. She knew that now was not the time to talk about this matter. 2 minutes later, Lin Feng suddenly found that there was another car following him closely. But it was not the same car as before. It was a different one. It was still following them. Wife, help me get the phone and call my uncle. Lin Feng said softly. Okay. Zhang Yuxi nodded, then took out Lin Feng's phone and dialed Zhou Zhangguo's number. Beep beep. The phone rang for a while and then was connected. Hello, Lin Feng, what's wrong? Zhou Zhangguo's serious voice came from the phone. Uncle, I'm being followed. Lin Feng said directly. Huh? Where are you now? Have those people arranged around you shown up? Zhou Zhangguo said in a calm tone. Nothing. I just left the compound and soon after I found someone following me. After I got rid of him, he changed another car and followed me closely. Lin Feng said. Where are you now? I'm on my way back to the community. Well, I'm on Guanggao Road now. Lin Feng looked at the road signs outside and said. Well, slow down, I'll arrange someone to go over immediately. Zhou Zhangguo said. Okay. After Lin Feng finished speaking, the two hung up the phone. Zhang Yuxi on the side looked at Lin Feng nervously. Wife, don't be afraid, your husband is here, it's okay. Lin Feng said softly. Yes, I'm not afraid. Zhang Yuxi nodded. As long as she is with Lin Feng, she is not afraid. But she is confused now. What is going on? It's not easy to speak now. Lin Feng slowed down the car, and the car behind him kept following him. Less than 5 minutes later, a car siren sounded. Lin Feng knew that the people arranged by his uncle Zhou Zhangguo were coming. Soon the car following behind Lin Feng was intercepted. Seeing this, Lin Feng slowly parked the car on the side of the road. Soon several fully armed personnel came over. Knock knock knock. There were knocks on Lin Feng's car window. He slowly lowered the window. Hello, is this Mr. Lin Feng? The man said. It's me, who are you? Lin Feng said calmly. Hello, Mr. Lin Feng, I was sent by Chief Zhou. We have seized the car that followed you. We are going to take the person back for investigation. Are you okay? Said the fully armed soldier. I'm fine. Lin Feng nodded. Okay, let's do this for now. Let's go back and report. Said the soldier. After that, he turned and left. After Lin Feng saw him walking away, he started the car again and left. Everything was peaceful along the way, and there was no follow-up. About 10 minutes later, Lin Feng's car drove into the underground parking lot of his community. After parking the car, he took Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two took the elevator back home. Husband, what happened just now? Zhang Yuxi said after pouring a glass of water for Lin Feng. Lin Feng took the water and took a sip. Wife, this is what happened. Isn't Grandpa's health not very good? After I cured Grandpa with acupuncture, the news was known to the enemies of the Zhou family. But despite this, Grandpa's health has only returned to normal. It's not beyond the scope of common sense. But, didn't Grandpa take our longevity potion some time ago? Grandpa's body recovered to the state of about 50 years old. That's not common sense. So he was targeted. And since I was the first person to cure Grandpa, I became even more of a target. So what happened today? Lin Feng explained slowly. Chapter 1210, 100 million yuan allocated to purchase medicinal materials. Ah, how could this happen? What should we do now? Zhang Yuxi said with some worry. Silly wife, it's okay, don't worry. The enemy doesn't know the specific situation. And this is in the capital, they won't dare to act rashly. Also, my uncle and the others have already made arrangements. There are always people around us protecting us in secret. Well, after a while, When our simplified version of the longevity potion is announced to the public, everything will be fine. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand and spoke softly and tenderly. Although Zhang Yuxi was a little worried and scared. However, feeling the warmth from Lin Feng's palm, the fear in her heart also decreased a little. Zhang Yuxi nodded. Lin Feng gently rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head. At this time, Lin Feng's mobile phone rang. Quietly holding the blue and white token and keeping the promise, parting is always spent in frustration. Lin Feng took out his mobile phone from his pocket and saw that it was his uncle who called. A call from my uncle. He motioned to Zhang Yuxi to answer the phone himself. So he got up with the phone and walked to the balcony. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's back, her eyes full of worry. Lin Feng pressed the answer button. Hello uncle, what's wrong? Lin Feng spoke to the phone. Well, Lin Feng, the matter has been investigated. It is indeed aimed at your grandfather's recovery. But the enemy is very cunning, and the people who followed you are just paid to do things. He knows nothing. The clue is broken. Zhou Zhangguo said calmly. Well. Lin Feng nodded. Silence. He had already thought of this situation. The enemy could not be so stupid as to leave evidence. Lin Feng, let your company's people start producing a simplified version of the longevity potion. I will arrange for the troops to be stationed in your pharmaceutical factory. I'll let your third uncle contact you for details. Zhou Zhangguo said softly. Okay, I'll arrange it immediately. Lin Feng said. He knew what his uncle meant. Since it can no longer be hidden, then bring the matter to the table. No more pretending, show your cards. With the Zhou family around, all conspiracies and tricks will not be able to escape. The two chatted for a while. Zhou Zhangguo asked you if Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were injured. After learning that Lin Feng was fine, Zhou Zhangguo hung up the phone. After all, he sat in that position and had too many things to do. After hanging up the phone, Lin Feng lay on the balcony and looked at the night in the distance, wondering what he was thinking. After a while, Lin Feng picked up the phone again and called Su Qing. Beep beep beep. The phone rang for less than a few seconds before it was connected. Hello, Mr. Lin. Su Qing's voice came from the other end of the phone. Mr. Su, excuse me. I have something to tell you. Lin Feng said calmly. Mr. Lin, please go ahead. Su Qing saw that Lin Feng was going to talk about business, and said respectfully in a serious tone. Well, how is the pharmaceutical factory going? Lin Feng said. Mr. Lin, the pharmaceutical factory is ready. The staff has been recruited, and production operations can be carried out at any time. Su Qing said. Well, our Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company is ready to start producing the first batch of drugs. Lin Feng said. Great, the pharmaceutical factory has been idle recently, and the daily expenditure is not small. Now that the production operation has started, it can finally play its role. Su Qing was stunned, and then said excitedly. By the way, how much money is left in the company account of Yuxi Pharmaceutical? Lin Feng asked. To reply to Mr. Lin, our company has been spending money before, but we also have a cooperation with Zhou Group. The current balance of liquid funds in the company account is 129,125,746 yuan. Mr. Lin, do you have any arrangements? Su Qing said respectfully. Sure enough, Su Qing's business ability is beyond reproach. Draw 100 million from the account, and tomorrow you will arrange to purchase a batch of Chinese medicinal materials with all your strength. I will send a list to your email later. And purchase some pharmaceutical equipment. Tomorrow I will let Zhou Group contact you, and you will negotiate with them. Lin Feng said. Okay, Mr. Lin. I'll go to the company tomorrow and arrange it immediately. Su Qing said respectfully. Although Su Qing was a little shocked that Lin Feng was going to spend 100 million yuan to buy medicinal materials and equipment. But she was a very sensible person and didn't ask too many questions. Afterwards, the two chatted about some things in the company for a while. Then they hung up the phone. Lin Feng walked back to the living room with his phone in his hand in silence. He saw Zhang Yuxi looking at him with a worried look on her face. A little distressed. Wife, it's okay. Don't worry, everything has been arranged on my uncle's side. After a while, our Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company, Limited will launch a simplified version of the longevity potion. When the time comes, we can push the relationship to the Zhou Group on my third uncle's side, and we will have nothing to do. Lin Feng explained. Yes, Zhang Yuxi nodded. Although she was still a little uneasy in her heart. But she was sensible and knew that she had to trust Lin Feng at this time and not add troubles and burdens to him. Okay, wife, go take a shower. After you take a shower, I'll take a shower too. Well, I'll watch a movie with you later. Lin Feng rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head and spoke softly and tenderly. Okay. Zhang Yuxi nodded, with a slight smile on her lips. Then she got up and went upstairs to take a shower first. When Lin Feng saw Zhang Yuxi going upstairs, he retracted his gaze. He thought about it, picked up the phone on the table and called his brother Chen Dongyan. Beep beep. The phone rang for a long time before it was connected. Hello, boss, what do you want? Chen Dongyan's wretched voice came from the other end of the phone. Well, nothing. I just want to ask you, have the one in your family and the two in the second and third families taken the medicine I gave you? Lin Feng said casually. Oh, this. You and the others have already drunk the medicine. After drinking it, they were scared just like us before. The effect is amazing. Chen Dongyan said with a smile. Well, just drink it. Did you deal with the medicine bottle? Lin Feng asked again. He was afraid that someone would use it to do something. After all, someone was watching him now. He didn't know if they were watching the people around him. Ah. The medicine bottle. We did as you said and dealt with it specially. After taking the liquid medicine, we knew that this matter was very important. Chen Dongyan said seriously. After he and Chen Kun took the medicine, they knew that the medicine Lin Feng gave them was very important. So they dealt with it very seriously. Even his girlfriend was dealt with together. After all, such a terrible drug effect, once leaked, the consequences would be very serious. Okay. Just deal with it. If there is nothing else, don't run around recently, just stay in the juggling club. Anyway, there is enough room for you guys to play there. Lin Feng instructed. Chapter 1211 Troubled Times. Boss. Did something happen? Chen Dongyan was stunned for a moment and asked. Well, something happened. Things are not peaceful recently. You all should pay attention. It will be fine after a while. Lin Feng did not explain too much. Okay, boss, I know. I will tell the second brother and them. Chen Dongyan saw that Lin Feng did not explain. He knew that the matter was a bit serious. So he nodded and agreed. Then the two of them talked for a while and hung up the phone. Put down the phone. Lin Feng picked up the pack of Red Panda cigarettes on the table and popped one out of the cigarette box. He threw it casually and put it in his mouth. Pasuk. Huh? Lin Feng lit the cigarette and took a deep breath. It's a troubled time. Lin Feng thought to himself. After finishing a cigarette, Zhang Yuxi's shouting came from upstairs. Husband, husband. Lin Feng responded when he heard it, turned off the lights downstairs, and got up and went upstairs. Wife, what's wrong? Lin Feng came to the room and said. Honey, go take a shower. You said you wanted to watch a movie with me. Zhang Yuxi said softly. Okay. Lin Feng nodded and smiled. Then he walked into the bathroom. After taking a shower, Lin Feng came out wrapped in a bath towel. At this time, Zhang Yuxi had already chosen a movie. Just wait for Lin Feng to blow dry his hair, and the two of them can watch a movie together in bed. Lin Feng quickly dried his hair. There is no way, it is so fast. Men have short hair, so it is easy to blow dry. After blowing his hair, Lin Feng got into bed. Honey, is it ready? Okay, then I'll start playing. Zhang Yuxi said with a remote control in her hand. Yeah, let's start. Lin Feng nodded. Then, Zhang Yuxi got into Lin Feng's arms, and the two watched a movie together. After watching for a while, Zhang Yuxi suddenly felt something was wrong. It seemed that something was pushing against her. She twisted her body subconsciously. Honey, this movie is so touching. Zhang Yuxi said with a tearful look. Lin Feng. Then. Soon the 2-hour movie was over. That was over too. This longevity potion is really awesome. Lin Feng is more terrifying than before. The movie was over too. Then the two of them planned to go to bed. Before going to bed. I have to wash up again. After all, I'm sweating. So the two of them went into the bathroom to wash up together. About half an hour later, the two of them finally finished washing up. Honey, I'm so tired. I'm sleepy. Zhang Yuxi said weakly. Thank you, my wife, go to bed. Lin Feng said softly and gently. Then he helped Zhang Yuxi cover the quilt. Then he also lay on the bed and prepared to go to bed. The lights were turned off. The two closed their eyes and soon fell asleep. The next morning, Lin Feng woke up. He glanced at Zhang Yuxi, who was still sleeping, and smiled gently. This little fool must have been exhausted last night. Lin Feng shook his head. Then he got up and walked out of the room on tiptoe. After washing up downstairs, Lin Feng began to prepare breakfast. After breakfast, he still had to go to Tsinghua University and Peking University with Zhang Yuxi for classes. There was no way. He was still just a freshman now. He still had to study. Lin Feng smiled self-deprecatingly, then put on an apron and started to make breakfast. Well, let's make a steamed bun for Zhang Yuxi and myself this morning. Lin Feng took out a flour from the cupboard and started to make it. Chop, chop, chop. After a flurry of fancy operations, Lin Feng made the dough and meat filling for the steamed buns. Then, he started to make the steamed buns. After doing all this, he started to steam them. While steaming the steamed buns, the millet porridge that had just been cooked was also used. Lin Feng brought a millet porridge to the dining table and let it cool for a while. Then he started to make the side dishes. After all, drinking porridge and eating steamed dumplings with some side dishes is a perfect match. Soon, Lin Feng did it all. He brought the steamed dumplings and side dishes out to the dining table outside. Lin Feng clapped his hands and took off his apron. After washing his hands, he went upstairs to wake up Zhang Yuxi. As soon as Lin Feng walked into the bedroom, he found that Zhang Yuxi had woken up. However, Zhang Yuxi was still a little confused at this time. She stayed in bed and refused to get up. Little lazy pig, get up quickly. Lin Feng patted Zhang Yuxi's little butt and said softly, "Husband, don't. I want to sleep a little longer." Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly in a daze. "Hey, silly wife, get up quickly, breakfast is ready. If you don't get up, I will punish you with family discipline." Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's soft spot and said with a smile, "Up, don't. I'll get up now." Zhang Yuxi hurriedly sat up from the bed. Woke up instantly. There is no way. When she heard Lin Feng talking about the family rules, she was scared. She was most afraid of Lin Feng tickling her. Every time Lin Feng tickled her, she almost laughed to death. It was too difficult. So when Zhang Yuxi heard this, she immediately woke up. "Hubby, you are wrong," Zhang Yuxi said to Lin Feng seriously. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows. "Wife, I will give you another chance to reorganize your words." Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with a smile and said, "Zhang Yuxi. You bully me. I'm going to tell my parents." Zhang Yuxi started to play tricks. She turned her head and said with a hum, "Oh, okay, my dear wife. Hubby, I'll carry you to wash up." Lin Feng quickly changed the subject. That's better." Zhang Yuxi proudly raised her little head. Then she stretched out her hands and asked for a hug. "Okay." Lin Feng smiled dotingly. Then he picked up Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi put her arms around Lin Feng's neck, like an octopus. This is a daily habit between the two of them. This action is often used. So both of them are very relaxed. Lin Feng carried Zhang Yuxi to the bathroom, and they brushed their teeth and washed their faces together. After washing, the two of them insisted that Zhang Yuxi would not come down from Lin Feng. Lin Feng had no choice but to carry her downstairs. Put her on the chair in front of the dining table. He made her a bowl of millet porridge at any time. "Thank you, husband." Zhang Yuxi smiled happily. Lin Feng smiled and didn't say anything. Then, the two of them enjoyed breakfast happily. Lin Feng, this god-level chef, is really not covered. This millet porridge is soft, sweet, and very delicious. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help but drink 2 small bowls. And the steamed buns are even more unique. The juice is full, and the fragrance overflows when you bite it lightly. The soup inside is also very fresh. Zhang Yuxi's eyes lit up. They enjoyed the breakfast with a smile on their faces. They were both very satisfied with the breakfast. Chapter 1212 Press conference held as scheduled. After breakfast, Lin Feng cleaned up the dishes and carried Zhang Yuxi back to the bedroom upstairs. After the two changed their clothes, they took their things and went out. The two came to the underground parking lot downstairs in the community. After picking up the car, Lin Feng started the car. The two headed towards Tsinghua University and Peking University. Along the way, Lin Feng's master-level car driving skills came in handy. He kept shuttling through the traffic all the way. About half an hour later, Lin Feng's black Mercedes-Benz G appeared at the school gate of Tsinghua University and Peking University. Lin Feng did not stop and drove the car into the school. He drove all the way to the teaching building of the School of Finance. After parking the car, he and Zhang Yuxi got out of the car. After taking the textbooks, Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two walked upstairs to the teaching building. Huh? Yuxi, handsome Lin. At this time, a voice came from behind Lin Feng. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi both stopped at the same time, turned around and looked behind. It turned out to be Su Anna, Xiaoyu and Li Yi. Good morning, Lin Feng greeted them. Good morning, the three girls responded. By the way, Yuxi, why are you two so late today? Usually you would have arrived long ago at this time. Li Yi said with a puzzled look on her face. Yes, is it because you did it too late last night, that you can't get up today? Hehe. Su Anna also joked. Swish. Two blushes appeared on Zhang Yuxi's little face in an instant. Although Su Anna guessed right, how could she admit it at this time? I did get up a little late today, but it was because I spent a little longer making Zaya along Beiyao this morning. Plus there was a little traffic jam on the road, so it was a little later than usual. Lin Feng explained with a smile. Wow, Zaya along Beiyao. I really want to eat it. I kind of miss the craftsmanship of handsome Lin. Li Yi said with envy. Haha, come over to have dinner together if you have time on the weekend. Lin Feng said casually. Okay. The three girls said excitedly. Then, seeing that it was getting late, they went upstairs together. While Lin Feng was accompanying Zhang Yuxi to class every day, at Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company, Limited, Su Qing was busy dealing with the things Lin Feng had told her to do. In the next few days, Su Qing's efficiency was impeccable. She quickly prepared all the herbs needed for the longevity potion. Lin Feng quickly arranged it, and the pharmaceutical factory soon made a simplified version of the longevity potion. At present, Lin Feng does not plan to sell all the longevity potions to the outside world. Although even if it is a simplified version, the effect is very powerful. If too much is taken out at once, the whole world will probably go crazy. After the market is slowly opened up, it will be launched in large quantities one after another. This is a step-by-step process. The next step is clinical trials. The efficacy of the drug still needs to be tested by the patients themselves. After Lin Feng's testing of the drug, although the drug cannot achieve the effect of the complete version of the longevity potion, but the effect on the human body is still very huge. It is even more effective for some chronic diseases. For example, diabetes, heart disease, rheumatoid arthritis, and a series of chronic diseases. After taking the longevity potion, the vitality of human cells can be activated. Long-term use can achieve control or complete cure. Therefore, Lin Feng is not worried about the sales of this longevity potion. It will only be in short supply. 2 days later, Su Qing, in accordance with Lin Feng's instructions, set the first clinical trial of the drug at the First People's Hospital. Because the clinical trial of the drug requires a certain amount of time and treatment, the press conference of Yuxi Pharmaceuticals' longevity potion was scheduled for 2 weeks later. Time flies. 2 weeks later, the press conference was held as scheduled. The entire press conference was spectacular. Because the name alone is very curious, and the efficacy of the drug that was advertised in advance is extremely shocking. Everyone came with some expectations and some doubts. More people came here because of its reputation, just to witness this historic moment. Longevity potion. Who doesn't want to prolong life? Moreover, not only is the medicine effective, but the most important thing is that the price is surprisingly cheap. It's just a bargain. Basically, everyone can afford the medicine. Despite this, most people are skeptical and think that this kind of medicine is impossible. The pharmaceutical company must be exaggerating. Except for the upper class who know Lin Feng's company, no one else has ever heard of it. Sun Yishan, the president of the First People's Hospital, is currently being interviewed by major media. President Sun, can you tell us that the longevity potion developed by Yuxi Company is really so magical? There are rumors on the internet that your cure rate is over 90%. Is that true? President Sun is a nationally famous doctor, and his words carry a lot of weight. Facing the doubts of the reporters, Sun Yishan cleared his throat and said to the camera, "Here, let me announce a number to you all. This is the number of our clinical trials in the past month. Currently, the first batch of drugs has been administered to 100 people. They are all patients in our hospital who have been suffering from some chronic diseases for a long time. Among the 100 people, 21 are mild diabetic patients, and they have now recovered. As soon as this was said, the audience was in an uproar. Everyone showed strange looks, thinking that Zhang Yuxi was exaggerating the effect of the drug. Haha, friends, don't doubt it. I am just telling the truth. As a doctor who has been practicing medicine for decades, I will be responsible for every word I say. At first, I didn't believe it, but the results are in front of me. First of all, let me clarify. I am honored to be the main spokesperson for this press conference, but I definitely didn't take any benefits or exaggerate. The remaining 70 or so people are mostly some serious patients. Now they are all mild patients. The 100 people who took the medicine have no side effects. This is just for diabetic patients. It can also have a good effect on some heart disease, rheumatoid arthritis, etc. Hearing this, a reporter immediately asked again. President Sun, is this medicine really as cheap as advertised? Where can I buy it now? Zhang Yuxi was stunned when he heard it, and then turned to look at Su Qing on the side. Su Qing took the microphone, smiled slightly, and slowly spoke. Now our first batch of medicine production has been completed. Friends in need can buy it at the People's Hospital. Since the process required to produce medicines is very complicated, we will put it in major pharmacies as soon as possible. As for the price, please rest assured that everyone will be able to afford this medicine. We will also include the medicine in medical insurance. In the future, we will definitely research more new drugs to serve the country and the public. These are what Lin Feng told Su Qing to say. Lin Feng did not intend to make money from these medicines. Medicines are just one of his ideas, and he has more important things to do. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1213, a precedent never seen before. As soon as these words came out, there was a sudden noise in the venue. An effective special medicine that is also for multiple chronic diseases can be included in the medical insurance, and the price can be affordable for everyone. This action has never been done before. The press conference ended successfully after an hour. Although the report caused a great sensation, major headlines rushed to report it. But it seems that there is no good reaction. Instead, more people do not believe that there is such a medicine. After all, a new drug developed by a pharmaceutical company with no reputation, coupled with a low price, in the eyes of normal people, this boss is either a liar or a fool. Soon there were more negative news. In the following few days, even all negative news. Boss Lin, there have been a lot of negative news recently. I'm afraid it's not very good for us. Do you want to? On the phone, Su Qing was interrupted by Lin Feng before she finished speaking. Don't pay attention to these, it's nothing more than some other pharmaceutical companies deliberately doing something wrong. There is no problem with their products. The first batch will not be too much. Time will prove everything. Lin Feng had already thought of all the unexpected situations that would occur, and he had already been prepared. It's just some negative reports, and they will fade away slowly. After all, the effect of the product cannot be changed. At that time, the opinions expressed by the masses will bring about earth-shaking changes. What no one expected was that some industry insiders reported that some well-known large companies were vying to cooperate with Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company. Without exception, all were rejected by Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company. With a public announcement of the longevity potion, the incident is constantly fermenting. At this time, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were sitting at home in the community. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who was pouting, and felt funny. Zhang Yuxi was reading reports about the potion. I was quite happy at first, but I felt something was wrong the more I read. What? Husband, these media are simply talking nonsense. They don't know the effect of the potion at all, and they report it randomly. Zhang Yuxi said angrily. Lin Feng smiled and gently pinched Zhang Yuxi's nose, and said softly, silly girl, no matter what they do, in less than 2 weeks, all these reports will be suppressed, don't worry. Really? Husband. But these negative news are so angry. Zhang Yuxi was still a little angry. But since Lin Feng said it, she must believe Lin Feng. After all, he knows Lin Feng's strength. He never says something he is not sure of. Many netizens are completely confused. Although negative news is flying all over the sky, Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company did not come forward to explain, or even ignored it. The same news has appeared before. It's just not as strong as this time. It's the behavior of Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company that makes people very puzzled. Shouldn't it be explained? Is it a default? Or is it simply disdainful? Just when people were suspicious. In the next few days, the first batch of medicines were fully distributed. Lin Feng set the number at 10,000 doses. Although there are a lot of negative news. But the night before the release, Sun Yixin posted a dynamic on the internet. I've seen a lot of media reports recently, and I'm very angry. They are obviously distorting the facts. This is a wrong and unethical practice. It's the most ridiculous for a person who has never used the medicine to judge the authenticity of the medicine. I am also one of the first people to take the medicine. I think the effect of the medicine will make these people who distort the facts shut up. Just a few words, but all of them are the key points. Lin Feng didn't expect the old dean to speak for the medicine. This is still a bit unexpected. This is the fact. Sun Yixin has been very angry about the news in the past few days. He knows the effect of the medicine best. He himself suffers from rheumatoid arthritis and can only rely on medicine to maintain it every day. When you get older, there will always be some symptoms. Although they are only mild, you have to take medicine every day to prevent the condition from getting worse. After taking the medicine, the changes in his body really scared him. For those who are engaged in medicine, this is undoubtedly a special effect medicine. This is also the best medicine he has encountered since he started practicing medicine. Not only is the treatment period short and the effect is fast, but the most important thing is that the price is ridiculously cheap. A box of medicine only costs more than 50 yuan, and a course of treatment is only about 200 yuan. This is definitely a price that every family can afford. So when I saw the news in the media, I was so angry that I published this article overnight. This is a great insult to a conscientious enterprise. With Sun Yixin's reappearance, the scene ushered in a small change. When people learned that there were only 10,000 doses, they no longer cared whether the authenticity of the medicine was exaggerated or not. Because the price was really cheap. It took less than an hour to release it. All 10,000 doses of medicine were sold out. In the office, Su Qing reported the sales situation to Lin Feng. Lin, the sales speed of the medicine is faster than we expected. When will we release the second batch of products? Su Qing asked. She was a little puzzled why Lin Feng did not release the medicine in batches, but only released such a small part. We are not in a hurry for the second batch of medicines. The most important thing now is to pay attention to the market. If I am right, a batch of counterfeit products will appear in a few days. Eliminate this part of people, and then we will have no problem with large-scale release. In the future, the place of release must be strictly controlled. Except for some designated hospitals and pharmacies, other places must not appear. There is also the issue of price, which must be strictly controlled. Lin Feng explained. Su Qing understood immediately after hearing it. She couldn't help but secretly admire her boss. Boss Lin, don't we set up sales points ourselves? Su Qing asked suspiciously. No, most of the people who need these medicines are ordinary people. We can put them in pharmacies and key hospitals. We have more important things to do. Hearing this, Su Qing was stunned. There are more important things to do? Although puzzled, she didn't ask more. With the feedback of the first batch of medicines, the internet ushered in a revolutionary change. Because the people who bought the medicines all stood up and spoke. As more and more people stood up and spoke. Some people who didn't buy the medicine scolded these unscrupulous media. The indiscriminate and random reports caused them to not buy such good medicines. While scolding, they were also urging Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company to quickly produce the next batch of medicines. Just when the medicines were out of the market, some lawless elements quietly poked their heads out. In a huge warehouse, countless longevity medicines were densely placed. These were all imitations purchased by Su Qing. Except for the different ingredients of the medicines, the appearance was exactly the same. Chapter 1214 Endless Imitations. Zhou Xianhou was furious at this time. These bastards are really quick. It's really abominable. Fortunately, Lin Feng, you have foresight, otherwise we would be in trouble. Third uncle, don't be angry. This is just a small part. There will be more. Before we release the second batch of drugs, we just need to uproot them all. Lin Feng comforted him, and he was obviously not very angry about this matter. Well, leave the investigation to me. I want to see who is against us. They can mass produce so many imitations so quickly, so they must not be good people. Zhou Xianhua's eyes reflected a cold light, and his tone was cold. The next day, Zhou Xianhua called Lin Feng in a hurry. Lin Feng, I found it, but things don't seem to be that simple. Zhou Xianhua on the other end of the phone pondered. Well, let's meet and talk, third uncle. Lin Feng thought for a while and said. Lin Feng hung up the phone, and Zhang Yuxi on the side said worriedly. What's wrong? Husband, did something happen? Silly girl, it's okay. My third uncle called and asked me to talk about something. Lin Feng rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head and said softly. Oh. Zhang Yuxi nodded and didn't ask any more questions. After leaving home, Lin Feng went directly to the place Zhou Xianhua said. It was a factory in the suburbs. The factory was very shabby, and it was obvious that it had been abandoned for a long time. As soon as he arrived at the door, Zhou Xianhua was waiting for Lin Feng at the door. Lin Feng saw that his face was not very good. Things didn't seem that simple. As soon as he got off the car, Lin Feng asked. Third uncle, what's wrong? You look so bad. Lin Feng, this is a fake medicine. It may be a problem on my side. Come with me. Zhou Xianhua threw away the cigarette butt in his hand and said. After that, Zhou Xianhua took Lin Feng into the factory. In the factory, several big men in black suits greeted Lin Feng. Lin Feng knew all of them. They were Zhou Xianhua's people. I heard that they are all retired special forces soldiers. A fat man covered in blood was lying on the ground. This is the guy who made the fake drugs this time. I have just asked him clearly. He is not a mastermind, but just a pawn. Zhou Xianhua said with a heavy face. Does my third uncle know the mastermind behind the scenes? Lin Feng asked. Originally, this guy didn't say anything. I thought he just saw that our medicine was popular recently and wanted to make a little money, but I always felt that things were not that simple. This guy seemed to be deliberately avoiding something. I asked Xiaohu to use a special method to pry open his mouth. Zhou Xianhua said, pointing to a big man next to him. I didn't expect that his boss behind the scenes was Zhang Xianke, the boss of future technology. Zhang Xianke? Lin Feng asked in confusion. He was not unfamiliar with this name. He was the boss of a technology company. Recently, this company has just launched several smart products. Although it is still in its infancy, it has achieved considerable results. He is also a leader in the current technology industry. What Lin Feng didn't understand was why the boss of such a technology company would take action against one of his drugs. Seeing Lin Feng's doubts, Zhou Xianhua explained. This boss didn't run a technology company in his early years. His business was similar to ours, and he was also a sworn enemy of mine. We fought several business wars, big and small, and we can be said to be old rivals. Later, for some reason, he suddenly plunged into the field of science and technology. This Zhang Xianke is very treacherous. He framed me and caused trouble many times before, but I solved it every time. If it weren't for your third uncle who didn't understand this aspect, I would have entered the technology company and continued to work with him. Zhou Xianhua said viciously. Obviously, when the name Zhang Xianke was mentioned, he was very angry, as if he was an enemy. Technology company. Lin Feng muttered to himself. System, are you there? Ding. Host, I'm here. In the next few minutes, Lin Feng finished talking to the system and ended the conversation with satisfaction. Third uncle, what do you think about me opening a technology company too? Lin Feng suddenly said. Hearing Lin Feng say this, Zhou Xianhua didn't react for a while. Let's open a technology company. Zhou Xianhua asked again. What's wrong? Third uncle, do you think there is a problem? Lin Feng asked. Zhou Xianhua knew that Lin Feng had this idea after hearing that Zhang Xianke was his mortal enemy and had dealt with him many times, but based on his understanding of technology companies, this industry is very complicated, especially in the field of technical products. Lin Feng, we need to think about this in the long run. Not only other things, but we don't have talents in this field in terms of technology. Zhou Xianhua said. Third uncle, don't worry about these things, just leave it to me. I have always wanted to develop in this direction, but there has never been a suitable opportunity. Since Zhang Xianke has always been against us, then we can also set up a company. After all, we can't always let others chase us, right? Lin Feng said. After listening to Lin Feng's words, Zhou Xianhua's eyes lit up. He had no doubts about what his nephew said. If he said it was okay, then it must be okay. Before, He did the same business with Zhang Xianke and could fight back and forth. Since Zhang Xianke joined the field of science and technology, he could not do anything he wanted. Third uncle, I have to trouble you to give me a detailed information of future technology. Lin Feng said. It is still a necessary step to understand the opponent, although he does not think much of this opponent. How can a person who only does small things behind the scenes achieve great success? Third uncle, we will still sell the medicine according to the original plan. Although this big fish has been caught, there are still some small fish and shrimps that have not been dealt with. Lin Feng thought about it and continued to speak. After listening to Lin Feng's words, Zhou Zhenhua nodded. Then third uncle, please take the trouble to deal with him. Lin Feng said, pointing to the fat man lying on the ground motionless. In the next few days, Su Qing received another strange notice from her boss, that is, she received an order to let her develop a basement. Although Su Qing did not understand what her boss was going to do, she still did not ask more. As a smart person, she knew what to ask and what not to ask. However, she had a feeling that Lin Feng must be doing something big this time. In the next few days, small vendors selling fake medicines were arrested one after another. Fortunately, the products they sold had no side effects and were made from the raw materials of some common health medicines. However, none of the arrested people were exempted and were sentenced to heavy sentences. Chapter 1215 Explosive News. At the press conference, Su Qing, the spokesperson of Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company, spoke again. The second batch of longevity medicine was also put on the market, and the number remained unchanged at 10,000 doses. Then, Su Qing announced the second explosive news. Su Qing stood on the stage, looking at the audience with confidence. Dear media friends, I believe everyone already knows the effect of our medicine. Recently, there are many lawless elements who want to deceive the public and make fake medicines. Most of them have been brought to justice now. If you need it, please go to our designated sales offices to buy it. In addition, we will sell medicines in large quantities in the future. Of course, we will also increase market control. Here, I have another news to announce to everyone. Su Qing paused, accompanied by the suspicious looks of many media people below. Slowly opened his mouth. I announced that Yuxi Company will open a new company and enter the field of science and technology. As soon as this was said, the whole audience was in an uproar. A pharmaceutical company has just developed a medicine and turned to science and technology? This made everyone present unable to react. Actually, Su Qing was also surprised when she got the news. But she still had to follow the boss instructions. Then Miss Su, does your company plan to make greater breakthroughs in pharmaceuticals in the future? As far as I know, your company's drugs are really effective, and many netizens hope that you can develop better drugs. A reporter in the audience asked. Of course not, we will continue to develop our drugs, and we will also develop them in the field of science and technology. I can answer your questions about drugs now, and we will launch better drugs later. As soon as these words came out, everyone in the audience was excited. Some of them had reported negative news about drugs before. But when their families or themselves used drugs, they were stunned by the effects of drugs. They didn't care much about technological products, but they heard that there were stronger drugs coming out. This undoubtedly made them look forward to it. Especially the price of drugs. On the other side, in a luxurious villa, a thin middle-aged man wearing gold-rimmed glasses and a black suit was watching the report on TV. The man's eyes were a little weird. A sneer appeared at the corner of his mouth. Yuxi Company. He. Zhou Zhenhua, you are really brave. You are not qualified to work with me in technology. Click, the door of the room was opened. A foreigner walked in. He spoke fluent Chinese. Mr. Zhang, it's almost done. Do you still want to continue to make medicine? Hearing this, Zhang Xianke's face looked a little ugly. Don't you think it's not embarrassing enough? It's all your bad idea. A bottle of medicine has not been sold. Do you think my money is blown by the wind? Zhang Xianke didn't expect that he had planned to frame Zhou Zhenhua, but he didn't expect that he miscalculated. The other party seemed to have been prepared for it. Put a stop to the medicine business for now, and hold a press conference immediately, saying that future technology will launch new products. Zhang Xianke said, with a haze in his eyes. At Lin Feng's home, Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng strangely. Husband, you said you want to enter the technology industry. Yes, I plan to do it. Lin Feng replied. Then what product are you going to make? Zhang Yuxi seemed a little surprised. Well, I haven't thought about it yet. I'll tell you when I think about it. Listening to Lin Feng's answer, Zhang Yuxi felt that Lin Feng was joking. But looking at Lin Feng's serious face, it didn't seem like a joke. Hubby, no matter what you do, I believe in you and can do the best. Although I don't know why Lin Feng chose to enter the field of science and technology. But he is quite clear about Lin Feng's character and never makes big promises. As long as Lin Feng says it, he will definitely do it well. After a storm. Looking at Lin Feng, he looked at Zhang Yuxi who was sleeping beside him. He got up and walked to another room. System, are you there? Ding, I'm here. Start upgrading the system. Lin Feng said excitedly. Ding, please go to a quiet environment, and the host environment is detected to be up to standard. Upgrading the system, loading, %1, %5, %50, %100, loading successfully, detecting host information. The host's IQ is detected to be low, and the system upgrade gift package is being distributed. Lin Feng couldn't sit still when he heard it. My IQ is low. Are you kidding me? Lin Feng muttered in a depressed voice. Ding, the gift package has been distributed. Do you want to open it now? Open. Lin Feng said without hesitation. Ding, the gift package is being opened. Please check it. As soon as the system finished speaking, a black capsule appeared in front of Lin Feng. Primary future brain capsule, can develop new brain areas, improve brain operation speed, greatly improve the host's brain functions, and master primary future technology knowledge after the improvement. Looking at the black capsule in his hand, Lin Feng was a little excited. He stuffed it into his mouth. The moment the capsule entered his mouth, the capsule melted immediately. A strange energy rushed straight to his brain. Lin Feng only felt dizzy and felt like vomiting. It felt like it was only a moment, and then he returned to normal. A series of strange graphics, formulas, and other unfamiliar information were transmitted into the brain. Lin Feng was stunned. Oh my god, system, you are not right? This is still the elementary level. Lin Feng couldn't help but complain about the system. If all the things he knew in his mind were made, he might be able to fight in Star Wars. There are even all kinds of spaceships in battle. This really refreshed Lin Feng's worldview. A series of equipment that can only be seen in science fiction movies. Now they all appear in his mind. If enough materials are prepared, it is only a matter of time for Lin Feng to make these things. If all are really made, it will probably make a sensation around the world. This is still the elementary level, so what will the advanced future technology look like? Lin Feng dare not imagine. The system is really awesome. Chapter 1216 You Are My World. The next day. Early in the morning, Lin Feng got up. He glanced at Zhang Yuxi who was sleeping soundly beside him, tucked her in the quilt, and got up on tiptoe. After gently closing the door of the room, Lin Feng went to the bathroom downstairs to wash up. After washing up, Lin Feng came to the kitchen and began to prepare breakfast for Zhang Yuxi and himself. Lin Feng's god-level cooking skills are really not covered. After a fancy operation, all the ingredients needed are ready. Lin Feng started to cook porridge. Drinking some stomach-warming porridge for breakfast is good for the body. After cooking the porridge, Lin Feng came to the living room, took out a panda cigarette from the pack of red panda cigarettes on the table and put it in his mouth. Inhale. Hoo. Lin Feng took a deep breath of the cigarette. Feeling the smoke circling in his chest, he slowly exhaled. Recalling the shock that the system brought to him last night. This is something that completely transcends the current era. There are some things in it that if I really want to take them out, it is estimated that there will be a bloody storm and a world war. Therefore, Lin Feng dare not take out too many things at once. As for what to do first, Lin Feng has to think about it carefully. Take time tonight to find his third uncle Zhou Senhu and discuss it together. As for some of the technological products involving military aspects, I can also reveal some to my uncle and second uncle a little bit, let them study it, and then the country's military strength can be improved by a level. With the improvement of overall strength, those foreign things who don't know good or bad will not dare to be so arrogant. After smoking the cigarette, Lin Feng put out the cigarette butt in the ash shed. Then he got up and went to the kitchen to wash his hands, then opened the pot and stirred it. About 20 minutes later, Lin Feng had everything ready. He brought the breakfast to the dining table outside. He took off his apron casually, washed his hands, and walked to the second floor. Click. Lin Feng opened the door of the room. Then he walked in. Zhang Yuxi was still sleeping at this time. The delicate little face frowned slightly, as if she was having a bad dream. Lin Feng felt a little distressed. Something happened during this period of time. Although Zhang Yuxi usually behaved very well and normally, Lin Feng also kept comforting her and said that she was fine. But she must be very worried about herself in her heart. Worried that she would be hurt. Lin Feng stretched out his right hand and gently stroked Zhang Yuxi's delicate and beautiful little face. Zhang Yuxi seemed to feel someone touching her in her sleep. The eyelashes on her eyes trembled. She slowly opened her eyes. The moment she opened her eyes, Lin Feng's handsome face came into her eyes. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly at Lin Feng. "Hubby, good morning," Zhang Yuxi said. "Good morning, my wife. Hurry up and wash up, and then have breakfast," Lin Feng said softly and gently. "Yes." Zhang Yuxi nodded her little head. Then she stretched out her hands. "Hubby, hold me up to get up." Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. "Okay, you are such a lazy pig." Lin Feng scratched Zhang Yuxi's little nose and said dotingly. Then he picked up Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi had a happy smile on her face. She stuck tightly to Lin Feng's arms, hanging on Lin Feng's body like an octopus. This is almost becoming a daily behavior habit between the two. After holding Zhang Yuxi to wash up, the two went downstairs to have breakfast together. Lin Feng made a bowl of preserved egg and lean meat porridge for Zhang Yuxi. Then he handed it to her with a doting face. "Thank you, my dear husband, Muah," Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. "Little fool, eat quickly, otherwise it will be cold." Lin Feng shook his head and smiled. "This little fool is so cute every day. I am really happy to have such a wife." Then the two began to enjoy a delicious breakfast. Lin Feng's cooking skills are really great. Simple ingredients, after being cooked by his hands, will become delicious. "Hubby, I'm so full. If you keep going like this, I'm afraid you'll turn me into a fat pig," Zhang Yuxi said with a frown. "Ha. Little fool, that won't happen. Your husband has calculated the amount of ingredients. And the nutrition is balanced, so this won't happen. Besides, my wife is the most beautiful fairy no matter what," Lin Feng said with a smile. Really? "Hubby, you are always so sweet and always make me happy," Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Although she said this and that, she would be very happy every time Lin Feng praised her. "Of course it's true. The most successful thing I've done in my life is to be with you, my wife. You are my whole world, my wife," Lin Feng said with a gentle face. "Hubby, you are so corny. But I'm very happy." Zhang Yuxi smiled happily. "Hubby, the greatest luck in my life is to be with you," Zhang Yuxi said seriously. "Yes. Love you, forever," Lin Feng said with a gentle face. Then the two of them cleaned up the table together and washed the dishes. After doing all this, the two prepared to go upstairs to change clothes and go out. Although it is the weekend today, Lin Feng has made an appointment with his uncle early in the morning. The family is going to go to the suburbs to accompany his grandfather to fish. Then camp. About 10 minutes later, Zhang Yuxi finished applying sunscreen. "Honey, I'm ready. Do you want me to apply some sunscreen too?" Zhang Yuxi said. "Me? No need. This little sun won't hurt you." Lin Feng thought for a while and said. "He has always been very white, especially after taking the longevity potion. The whole person seems to be better. A real handsome man." However, Lin Feng always felt that a slightly darker skin would be more manly. After packing up, the two went out. After arriving at the underground parking lot, the two got on Lin Feng's black Mercedes-Benz G. Lin Feng still considerately helped Zhang Yuxi fasten her seat belt, and then he fastened his own seat belt and prepared to set off. Boom! Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator. The engine of the Mercedes-Benz G roared. Squeak! Squeak! The sound of car tires rubbing against the ground sounded. Lin Feng turned the steering wheel sharply, and the car quickly disappeared in the underground parking lot. After leaving the gate of the community, Lin Feng drove the car all the way to the direction of Yulong Mountain on the outskirts of Beijing. Chapter 1217. Being a human being is like fishing. "Honey, people are saying that Yuxi Company is going to spin off a subsidiary to do technology, right?" Zhang Yuxi suddenly said in the car. "Yes. It is going to be a technology company. We have already started to upgrade Yuxi Company to Yuxi Group, and Yuxi Pharmaceutical and Yuxi Technology are both subsidiaries of the group," Lin Feng explained. Zhang Yuxi was very moved after hearing what Lin Feng said. because these companies are named after her. While being moved, Zhang Yuxi was also a little shy. Lin Feng is going to let the whole world know the status and importance of her, Zhang Yuxi, in his heart. This big fool. Honey, thank you. Zhang Yuxi suddenly said. Little fool, why are you saying thank you all of a sudden? Lin Feng turned his head and looked at Zhang Yuxi, and said with some confusion. Honey, thank you for giving me enough sense of security. Thank you for letting the whole world know how important I am in your mind. Zhang Yuxi said with a face full of emotion. She felt that she was really happy at this moment. It can be said that she is the happiest woman in the world. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment, and then he understood what Zhang Yuxi meant. He held the steering wheel with one hand, freed his right hand and gently held Zhang Yuxi's warm little hand. Little fool, there is no need to say thank you between us. You are more important than anything else in my heart. Lin Feng said with a gentle face. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded gently. She felt warm in her heart at this time, and she felt like crying. Soon, the two came to the agreed place for fishing and camping. At this time, Lin Feng's grandfather and others had already arrived. Lin Feng saw their parked car from a distance. After Lin Feng slowly parked the car, he and Zhang Yuxi got out of the car. Holding Zhang Yuxi's little hand, the two walked towards their grandfather and others. Everyone heard the voice and looked over to Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two walked up to them. Grandpa, uncle, and good morning. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi greeted them together. Lin Feng, Yuxi, hello too. Everyone responded with a smile. Haha. Lin Feng, come on, let's go fishing together. Lin Feng's grandfather Zhou Saiqiang said with a smile. Okay. Lin Feng nodded. Then he gestured to Zhang Yuxi and walked towards his grandfather. Zhang Yuxi was on the side with Lin Feng's aunts and cousins, preparing the food and camping tools that would be used later. Lin Feng's third uncle Zhou Senho handed him a fishing rod. After Lin Feng took it, he sat down next to his grandfather. After hanging the bait, he threw it hard, and the fishing line flew into the lake. Draw a beautiful parabola. Haha. Lin Feng, you have good skills. How about we have a competition between the two of us to see who can catch the fish in the shortest time? Zhou Saiqiang said with a smile. Oh, how can I do anything? I'm just messing around. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment and said. Hey, kid, don't be so modest all the time. Come on, let's have a competition. Zhou Saiqiang said. He really doesn't know how to fish. The move just now was just the use of force techniques. But since my grandfather is happy, I'll just play with him. As for whether I can catch a fish, it depends on luck. Okay then. Lin Feng said helplessly. Then the two of them started the fishing competition. Lin Feng, fishing requires patience. And it's a slow process, you have to endure it slowly. If you are impatient, even if the fish bites the hook, it will get off the hook and run away. This is also the case with being a person. You must be down to earth, and you must be patient no matter what you do. Zhou Saiqiang said while looking at the fishing rod. Yes, Grandpa is right. This is also the same as fishing. You must be calm and patient. Lin Feng nodded and said. Yes, that's right. As a person, you must be patient. It's really hard to achieve great things if you are impatient. Zhou Saiqiang praised Lin Feng's words and said. Yes. Lin Feng nodded. Soon, a fish took the bait on Lin Feng's grandpa's side. And there was still no movement on Lin Feng's side. After more than 10 minutes, Zhou Saiqiang's side had a fish directly hooked. He began to slowly retract the hook. He threw it hard, and a fish was hung on the hook. Wow! Zhou Saiqiang was the first one to have a fish hooked. Everyone couldn't help but be surprised by the scene in front of them. Grandpa, you won. Lin Feng said helplessly. It's only been a short time since the beginning, and his grandpa has a fish hooked. In addition to envy, Lin Feng also fiddled with the fishing rod in his hand seriously. At this time, the fishing rod in Lin Feng's hand also moved. He was moved in his heart. It's hooked. So he prepared to reel it in immediately. Zhou Saiqiang, who was standing by, said hurriedly. Oh, don't worry, let him bite the hook first. If you reel it in now, it will easily fall off the hook. Lin Feng stopped his movements when he heard this. After a few seconds, the drag from the hook in his hand became stronger. Zhou Saiqiang immediately asked Lin Feng to reel in the line. Huh? It's a big fish. Lin Feng, reel it in slowly, spend a while with it, and wait for it to lose its strength first. Zhou Sanqiang directed from the side. After a while, a big fish weighing at least 5 or 6 pounds floated to the surface. At this time, Lin Feng threw the fish and the hook together and onto the shore with a strong swing. Zhou Sanqiang nodded with satisfaction. Looking at the old man who caught fish one after another, he couldn't help but praise him and said, "Grandpa, you have a good fishing skill. If you have time, teach me how to fish after dinner." The old man has always been quite satisfied with his grandson Lin Feng, and he laughed. He stroked his goatee and said generously, "How difficult is that? Come on, I'll teach you how to fish from me now. I guarantee that you'll catch more fish than me and bigger fish than me in the future." It can be seen that the old man really likes Lin Feng. The uncles and aunts beside him couldn't help but laugh. "Grandpa, since Lin Feng and I came back, you really don't take us seriously anymore in this family." Of course, these words were just deliberately said by Lin Feng's uncles and aunts to tease him. It's not that they are really jealous or something. But the old man was very protective and said to them, "What do you know? Lin Feng finally came here to play, so of course I, an old man, will accompany him well. Unlike you, you have the opportunity to interact with me all day long. Lin Feng doesn't have the time to do that." Chapter 1218 Settle the Marriage. After hearing this, Zhou Zhanbang touched his chin, and then said with a very understanding look, "It seems that the old man means that we should not come back too soon from the army in the future. At least we should come back once every half a month or a month, and the old man will do the same to us. After all, the uncles are all key personnel in the army. When they are busy, they may not go home for several months. It's just that during this period of time, the time spent with the old man is longer. How can you think that after Lin Feng came, the old man is more partial to the young couple Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi?" Lin Feng was different after hearing this, and then walked up to his eldest uncle Zhou Sanguo and said, "Uncle, what you said is not right. Yuxi and I don't have as many opportunities as you and Grandpa. You want to snatch this little opportunity from us? This is too unfilial of an elder." Zhang Yuxi's second uncle couldn't help laughing, patted his eldest brother Zhou Sanguo on the shoulder, and then said, "Look at our good nephew. He really thinks of us no matter what he does. We loved him in vain when he was young." After saying this, Lin Feng narrowed his eyes slightly and pretended to threaten his two uncles. "You two are really too much to be uncles. You don't act like elders." Zhou Sanqiang scolded in a pretended angry manner. Even though the old man was old, he couldn't stand it. So Lin Feng's 2 or 3 words directly made the old man come out and teach his two sons a lesson in public. He said to Zhou Sanguo and Zhou Sanbang, "How do you talk to your nephew? If you don't take him seriously, then you don't take me, an old man, seriously. One by one, go. Hurry up and take these fish to the kitchen and pour them." Zhou Zhanguo couldn't help shaking his head, and followed Zhou Sanbang to say to Lin Feng, This is exactly the same as your mother when she was a child. Your mother was a big devil when she was a child. Whenever she encountered any grievances, she would run to act like a spoiled child with Grandpa. At that time, it was your uncles and us who were punished. Don't you see how difficult it is for us two uncles to be uncles? It's okay now, the old man is here to punish us two again." Lin Feng smiled. It was because the two uncles just made a joke about him and Zhang Yuxi. That's why he said that. He was a little proud, and said to Zhou Sanguo and Zhou Sanbang, "If the two uncles don't want to go, then you can tell Grandpa. Grandpa won't force you two to go anyway. At worst, I won't ask you to come next time." If Zhou Sanqiang really did this, Zhou Zhanguo and Zhou Sanbang would be really scared. When they heard this, they immediately took the 2 fish and walked in the direction of another prescription. "My good nephew, just think of it as your uncle apologizing to you. Don't deliberately stir up trouble again. If the old man is really angry with us brothers, it will be difficult to appease him." After that, the 2 of them left in disgrace. Lin Feng couldn't help shaking his head, and then revealed Zhang Yuxi and said in his ear, "I didn't expect that even if this uncle has great power in the army, he is like a mouse seeing a cat in front of our grandfather." Lin Feng said to Zhang Yuxi very proudly, "That's for sure. As long as I am here, the 2 uncles will never do anything to us." Lin Feng pinched her little nose, and then said to her, "Should it be that as long as our grandfather is here, there will be no other problems?" Zhang Yuxi stamped her feet, and then looked at the side, pretending to be fishing, but actually eavesdropping on her and Lin Feng's conversation with her ears perked up. Then she looked at Lin Feng's smiling face but teasing herself. So she stamped her feet and left. I won't talk to you anymore, I'm going to go over and let my uncle deal with you again. After listening to what he said, she couldn't help but feel uncomfortable, shook her head, and then sat on the ground, facing Zhou Sanqiang, who was full of energy, and said, Grandpa, the longevity medicine I gave you before, as well as the acupuncture treatments, have all been completed, and your illness is already 90% cured. I guess if you continue to practice boxing like this every day, take a walk occasionally, and go fishing when you are free, your body will recover soon. After hearing this, the old man nodded, still looking at Lin Feng kindly, and said, I have seen everything you have done for me, an old man. I also know that you saved me not only for the sake of your mother. This life is also destined for us. Tell me, when do you want to settle the marriage with Zhang Yuxi? When the time comes, I will be the master of ceremonies for you. You know, in such a family of great people, it is not easy to settle the matter between Zhang Yuxi and him, and it is a great achievement. But overall, it is because he is too outstanding that Zhang Yuxi's parents recognize him, and now after getting the words of the most authoritative grandfather in the whole family, Lin Feng knew that his grandfather wanted to take advantage of his better health to hold his great-grandson. Lin Feng naturally wanted to settle the marriage as soon as possible. Although he and Zhang Yuxi were not in a hurry, it could be seen that it would be good if this family could be established earlier. But this matter still needs to be considered in the long run. Lin Feng touched his chin, and then pretended to be thinking, and finally said to him after making up his mind. It's like this, old man. Now that Zhang Yuxi and I are engaged, then there is no need for us to emphasize too much whether this matter is early or late. I think it depends mainly on Zhang Yuxi, her own opinion. But when he heard this, Lao Yanzi's face suddenly became a little serious, and then he turned his head and asked Lin Feng with an unhappy face. What do you mean? Can't you decide this yourself? Why do you have to ask Zhang Yuxi's opinion now? Or do you think that the longer this matter is delayed, the better? You kid. This is a big deal in our family. Besides, can't your grandfather make the decision? Chapter 1219, Showing Affection in Person. Lin Feng hurriedly shook his head to show his loyalty and refused. How is this possible? Grandpa, you think too much? I just think we are still in college. If we get married so early, although it can indeed fulfill our family's wish, it may be too conspicuous. Did you encounter some business competitors of our family before? If something happens during this period, it will be really bad. On the contrary, I haven't laid a good foundation in other business environments yet. The technology company will have new inventions and research products soon. I think it is better to take advantage of this time and list a company, or hold it in our senior year. What do you think? After hearing what he said, the old man had to nod his head. They all said that Lin Feng's plan was very good, and they had not considered some of the details that Lin Feng had. Indeed, although the current business rivals seem to have nothing to do with Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, it is actually not the case. It might be affected. No matter what, as long as the two of them are together, it's fine. When they get married is not something that an old friend like him should care about. So he nodded and stroked his beard again. Okay, Lin Feng, I know you have always been a very opinionated person. And I am very relieved to hand over the Zhou family to you. But, as a grandfather, I must let you and Yuxi live a happy life in the future. Now my health is much better, and I can live a few more years. I just want to hug my great-grandson as soon as possible while I am still alive. I don't care about other things. This is my biggest wish now. Zhou Sanqiang stood up and put away all his fishing tools after he finished speaking. Lin Feng smiled knowingly, and knew that his grandfather was willing to let him decide everything, so he helped him put away the tools. However, when he was putting away the tools, he found that he had caught 2 more fish. It was just that they were smaller than the fish that the 2 uncles had taken in before. Zhou Sanqiang held the 2 fish in his hands, watching them struggling, and then put the 2 fish back into the water with a smile. As he put the fish into the water, he couldn't help but say, "These little guys should live freely in their own place. If they are forcibly caught on the shore, they will not survive for more than a few days." Lin Feng also echoed beside him. "Grandpa, you are also compassionate. You think that you can definitely enjoy a few more decades of family happiness." Zhou Sanqiang laughed happily and walked back while pulling Lin Feng. "Then I hope I can borrow your good words. You kid, you are the lucky star of our Zhou family." When Lin Feng followed Zhou Sanqiang back to the camping, he could already smell the smell of fish from the kitchen. I didn't expect them to be so fast. They have made several tricks with a fish so quickly. It is said that every one of Lin Feng's and the others can basically show off their skills. They either sing and dance, or cook vegetables and grow flowers. Anyway, they all have unique skills. So when Lin Feng came in, he also smelled the very fragrant fish aroma, and he felt that it was too attractive, and then he couldn't help looking around. Hoping to find Zhang Yuxi's shadow, Zhou Saiqian couldn't help but said jokingly, "I guess Zhang Yuxi's girl should be in the kitchen helping your aunts cook. Don't worry, there will be no problem." After hearing what he said, Lin Feng nodded, but when he thought of his wife cooking at home, he felt a little nervous. You know, when he was at home, it was often Lin Feng who cooked. After all, it would be unreasonable if he didn't show off his amazing cooking skills, but Zhang Yuxi wanted to cook for herself. Then she almost blew up the kitchen several times. This incident is still vivid in Lin Feng's memory, and he didn't expect that he would go to help again today. But he had taught her to cook some simple dishes before. I hope nothing will happen, but Lin Feng's idea is indeed far-sighted. After a while, there was a very unpleasant burnt smell coming from the kitchen. Lin Feng had a very bad premonition, so he said to Zhou Saiqian next to him, "Grandpa, you sit here for a while, I'll go in and see what happened." If nothing unexpected happens, then it should be Zhang Yuxi who wants to blow up the kitchen. However, because the two ants were next to them, the kitchen was not completely blown up. Lin Feng had a headache when he thought of this, and couldn't help shaking his head. When he went in, he saw that Zhang Yuxi's face was like a little cat's face, with black burnt oil on it. And her hair was also a little bit burnt. He felt distressed, but wanted to laugh very much. After seeing Lin Feng coming, Zhang Yuxi whimpered twice and threw herself into his arms and cried, "Honey, I was scared to death just now. I almost thought I was going to die on the spot with these kitchen appliances." Lin Feng patted her shoulder, and then couldn't help but blame her in a very gentle voice, "You didn't have to do these things in the first place. If you say you are helping the ants, you don't have to touch these things yourself, and you are not allowed to say anything about death or life, otherwise I will be angry." The two ants who were cleaning up the mess next to them couldn't help but joked after hearing this. "This young couple's showing off their love in front of us, as if we don't exist, right?" Swish. Zhang Yuxi immediately lowered her head shyly. After hearing the sound, Lin Feng realized that the two ants hadn't left yet. Although this kitchen is very large, it only takes 2 turns to come to them, so they just dumped some broken glass shards. There are also some broken utensils. The two ants came over and just heard Zhang Yuxi in Lin Feng's arms acting coquettishly to Lin Feng, so they couldn't help but say jokingly. Zhang Yuxi was a little shy and threw herself into Lin Feng's arms, not daring to speak anymore. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 1220. Yuxi, I heard that you almost blew up the kitchen just now. Lin Feng patted her head, and then said to the two ants politely and elegantly, "Two ants, don't bother with Zhang Yuxi. She was actually more serious at home. It's still good today. She didn't hurt you. I'm grateful to her." This was clearly saying that Zhang Yuxi's cooking skills were very bad. Zhang Yuxi, who was comforted by Lin Feng, wanted to say something when she heard what Lin Feng said, and immediately punched Lin Feng's chest with her little fist. She couldn't help but complain, "How can you talk to me like that? What do you mean it's worse at home? How could that be? It's obviously that the appliances at home are different from those at Grandpa's place, so I'm not familiar with them. That's why I almost blew up the kitchen. How can you say that to me? I'll go back and cook a meal now, and there won't be the same kind of desolate scene as before." The two ants couldn't help but laugh. "Ha ha ha, I didn't expect Yuxi to admit it herself. When she cooked before, the whole kitchen was a desolate scene. It seems that Lin Feng is really a good boyfriend. He takes care of everything. Whether it's cooking, doing housework, or making money to support his wife." "You said, your two uncles are not as good as Lin Feng." After hearing the two ants still saying such teasing words, Zhang Yuxi was shy again and stamped her feet. "Ants, stop talking. If you keep doing this, I won't dare to come next time." Seeing that he was really shy, the two didn't say anything more. Anyway, the kitchen was almost cleaned up, and after dinner, they could just ask the people below to clean it up again. They couldn't really do the housework of getting the certificates, they were just cooking in the kitchen. Okay, go out quickly. Don't let your grandpa worry about you. Otherwise, we two aunts will be severely criticized by your grandpa. Lin Feng's two aunts said jokingly. They said this because they really felt sorry for Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, and wanted them to go out. Anyway, there was not much to do next. It was estimated that dinner would be ready in half an hour. Zhang Yuxi took Lin Feng's hand and went out, and then couldn't help but stretched out her little finger to poke Lin Feng's cheek. It's all your fault. Why did you say such things in front of the aunts just now? You made me lose face at all. Lin Feng also knew that Zhang Yuxi, this little guy, always didn't like others to mention things that embarrassed him, but he was so cute just now. If he didn't bring up this matter, Zhang Yuxi might have fooled him. He did this because he wanted Zhang Yuxi not to insert into the kitchen casually in the future. Once Zhang Yuxi inserted into it, the whole space would become a battlefield. He didn't want Zhang Yuxi to enter again. So he had to use this method. Okay, wife, I know you are angry, so how about I let you clean up when we go back? Lin Feng's words were full of ambiguous attitudes. After hearing this, Zhang Yuxi couldn't help rolling her eyes. But she said very playfully and cutely, I don't want to go back. I will sleep in my grandfather's house tonight. It depends on whether you want to go back alone. After hearing what she said, Lin Feng was not afraid at all, and said very proudly, you don't know, Grandpa just told me that he wants to keep me here to teach me how to fish, so you are not the only one staying here these 2 days, I have to stay too. We'll go back after this weekend. Anyway, they don't have much time in the past 6 months, and it doesn't matter if they want to stay for 2 more days during the holiday. But Zhang Yuxi was not happy to hear Lin Feng deliberately quarreling with her like this, and walked in front of Zhou Sanqiang. Yuxi, I heard that you almost blew up the kitchen just now. After hearing what Zhou Sanqiang said, Zhang Yuxi lowered her head shyly. Grandpa, that? It was an accident, he. Zhang Yuxi smiled awkwardly but politely. After taking a look at Lin Feng, he couldn't help but say to her, silly girl, just leave this to Lin Feng in the future. Lin Feng's cooking is indeed so delicious, can't you just eat it obediently? Why do you have to cook for yourself when there is a ready-made chef? These days, if you want to find a boyfriend better than Lin Feng, I don't think you can find the way even if you have 10 lanterns. Zhou Sanqiang said with a smile. Oh, Zhang Yuxi couldn't refute it, so she glared at Lin Feng. Lin Feng hurried over and poured 2 cups of tea for the two of them. Okay, just give me some face in front of Grandpa, okay? After Zhou Sanqiang took over Lin Feng's words, Zhang Yuxi also took over and nodded. Well, for Grandpa's sake, I won't argue with you, but I still have to learn to cook after I go back. I don't believe that I won't be able to cook a good dish when I graduate from college. After hearing this, Lin Feng almost crushed the cup. Oh my god, his wife is good in every way, but she is too persistent. She is obviously not a cooking material, but she is so persistent. This is really unnecessary. But she has already set the flag, how can I stop it? Zhou Sanqiang, who was next to him, took a look. He saw that Lin Feng looked very embarrassed, and he couldn't help but secretly laugh in his heart. You know, his grandson Lin Feng, who is good at everything, really seems to have never suffered any setbacks, and it is inevitable that he will have some bad thoughts in his heart. Lin Feng talked to his grandfather and grandson for a few more words, and took Lin Feng to the table together. Looking at the dazzling array of delicious dishes, Lin Feng picked up the chopsticks very unceremoniously, picked up a piece of fat fish meat, and put it on Zhang Yuxi's plate. Come on, eat more. Grandpa Zhou Sanqiang saw that his nephew and his future nephew's wife had such a good relationship. He stroked his beard with a smile, and picked up a piece of fish meat for his wife, Lin Feng's grandmother. Come on, eat more. I was able to wake up this time, thanks to Lin Feng. But it's also thanks to you, who have been taking care of me. Lin Feng's grandmother smiled, with a rare shyness on her kind face. You are already old, why do you still say these things? But Lin Feng's grandmother was still very happy and ate the fish that her old man picked for her. Chapter 1221 Do what you can. After the meal, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi said goodbye to Lin Feng's grandfather and his family. Lin Feng said to the two uncles, Uncles, if the company's affairs are handled well this time, I will convey the news to you. After hearing what he said, Lin Feng's grandfather shook his head and said, "Your two uncles only care about the country's affairs. They can't help you with your technology research and drug company. It's no use for you to tell them. You might as well come to me, an old man." The eldest uncle Zhou Sangguo next to him was unwilling to listen to his father's words. "Dad, how can you know that I don't support our nephew?" After that, he patted Lin Feng on the shoulder and said to him seriously, "Good nephew, don't worry. This time, your uncle will definitely help you. Don't pay attention to your grandfather. He just doesn't want your uncle to not only contribute to the country, but also focus on other fields." Listening to his uncle, he is obviously in his 40s or 50s. He was still fighting with his grandfather like a child. He also smiled helplessly, nodded heavily and said, "Don't worry, uncle. Wait for the news when I go back to the company. I will definitely tell you when there is progress." The second uncle also came up and said to Lin Feng carefully, "If you need any help, just tell your uncle at any time. We two uncles can't help with other things. But if anyone dares to cause trouble for your company, we have a lot of ways." So, Lin Feng should really thank these two uncles. After saying goodbye, Lin Feng drove away with Zhang Yuxi. On the way, Zhang Yuxi held Lin Feng's hand with some worry. "As far as I know, this time you are studying this technology research and development company, there must be a lot of enemies in the competition. Can you really guarantee that nothing will happen?" After all, she has been watching all the way. Lin Feng has never failed in anything he does. So what she believes is that this time, whether it is doing scientific research on drugs or any other project, it will definitely succeed. Lin Feng has always been a person who easily provokes enemies. So he was a little worried. After all, it was not like something had never happened before, so this was all solved. However, Zhang Yuxi was still very worried about her. Lin Feng held her hand, smiled at her and said, "Don't listen to what my two uncles are saying. They think that if there is any big danger, it is not that serious. Don't worry. This time, I will know how to do it within my ability. I can handle this measure. You, just stay at home obediently, and you don't have to go to school for a while." Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with some doubts. I don't understand why Lin Feng suddenly stopped her from going to school. Zhang Yuxi asked him in a silly way, "Why do you want our vacation? It seems to be coming soon. Why don't you go to school?" Lin Feng smiled and said, "Because Grandpa said before, when will we get married?" "How do you think I should answer Grandpa?" Zhang Yuxi covered her face with her hands and said shyly, "How can Grandpa say such a thing in advance? We are not there yet." Lin Feng also nodded. But he couldn't help but play landlord. "That's not necessarily true. My grandpa said that he wants to have a great-grandson. If you can give him a big fat boy as soon as possible, he will be very happy." Zhang Yuxi said after she reacted, "You are so excessive. I don't want to pay attention to you." She knew that Lin Feng said such words on purpose just now, because after she met Lin Feng's grandfather this time, she also knew that he was a very open-minded person. It is impossible to say that he would let her marry Lin Feng so early, although his idea is reasonable. But Lin Feng's grandfather really hopes that they can get married as soon as possible. As for the matter of having children, it is worth it for Grandpa to even mention it. This is indeed Lin Feng teasing her on purpose. It's just that Lin Feng will not admit it. Lin Feng smiled. "By the way, didn't you say yesterday that you would go back to settle accounts with me? Let's go back now." In a technology building. In a spacious office, a man in a suit sat on a chair. He rubbed his forehead and slapped the table in annoyance. He shouted loudly, "Where is Lisa? Where did she go? Why don't you bring me the research report quickly? Why are you asking me to wait?" After hearing what he said, outside, there was the sound of high heels. Then someone ran in. When he pushed the door open, he saw a female secretary in a suit. This person was Lisa. She took a breath, then put a document on the young man's desk and said to him, "Mr. Zhang, this is the final experimental report of our research this time. Please take a look." After hearing what she said, the man called Mr. Zhang took out the report and took a look. After seeing the data display, he was so angry that his hands were shaking. He tore the report in half, then threw it on the ground. A pair of eyes stared at Lisa angrily. After being looked at by him like this, Lisa felt very bad. She trembled, wondering if Mr. Zhang would vent his anger on others again this time. Although she was a very close secretary to Mr. Zhang. But if Mr. Zhang goes crazy and excludes his secretary, no matter how much he persuades her, It will be useless, not to mention that it may harm herself. So at this time, Lisa already wanted to go out. But this time, Mr. Zhang did not get angry directly. Mr. Zhang turned around and said to her, I will give you another 7 days. You must increase this data by 10% anyway. If you can't do this, then all those guys who eat soft rice in the Science and Technology Research Department will get out of here. After hearing Chuck's anger, Lisa breathed a sigh of relief. Because she knew that this time, Mr. Zhang did not add the passers-by to those innocent people. But she had to spread the news as soon as possible. Otherwise, those people didn't know how worried they would be. Yes, Mr. Zhang, don't worry. This time, I will definitely take your words to the research department. Let them make a new test product within a certain time and show it to you. After saying this, Lisa wanted to leave. But at this time, Mr. Zhang stretched out his hand, grabbed her hand, and said with a smile, My Lisa, where are you going? Come here. It seems like we haven't gone home together for a long time. After seeing him say that, Secretary Lisa nodded and smiled. She knew that this was Mr. Zhang's special care for her. In this company, only someone as young and beautiful as her, and a female secretary who is very close to Mr. Zhang, can have such a good fortune. Others don't have this kind of treatment. So, she walked towards Mr. Zhang very happily. Chapter 1222 The First Batch of Medicine. Half an hour later, Lisa came out of the company and straightened her collar. She went to the person in charge of scientific research and technology, with a document in her hand. After arriving at the place, she distributed the document. Then she said to all the researchers, This time, President Zhang will give you another chance. If you mess up again, you should know the consequences. If you don't want someone to leave here, you should think about it carefully. Do you want to use all your abilities on this project? This is the research project that President Zhang has invested the most effort in this year. Can you fight for your reputation? Although everyone disliked this secretary who said these things in front of them, they all understood. This is indeed the last pass document that President Zhang gave them. If they fail again, or the data does not reach the target value that President Zhang wants, then they will leave one after another. After all, their treatment in this research institute is still very high. Once they left, there would be other people rushing to enter the research institute, so everyone didn't want to leave and could only nod and say, Don't worry, Secretary Lisa, we will definitely try to seize this opportunity and won't let Mr. Zhang down again. Lisa nodded, and acted very proudly, as if he was the real judge, and she left in high heels. Remember what you said. There are only 7 days. After 7 days, I will come again to ask for your research results. After Lisa left, a burst of complaints broke out in the laboratory. What should we do? You know, Mr. Zhang asked us to research a new experimental sample within 7 days. I'm afraid we really have to stay up for 7 days and 7 nights, which is not enough time to sleep. After hearing what he said, everyone else nodded, thinking that what he said made sense. What can we do? Who made Mr. Zhang spend so much effort on this project? We really didn't achieve the results that they were satisfied with. We can only work hard. Come on, brothers, let's work hard together. Everyone continued to work. In another villa, Zhang Xianke has returned to his home, and a car is parked outside the villa. A Mercedes-Benz got out, and a middle-aged man in a white coat, who looked like a foreigner, rang the doorbell. When the nanny opened the door for him, he walked in, and then looked at Lin Feng and said, Mr. Zhang, this time we brought back a batch of experimental products from abroad. If you are assured, we plan to test this batch of experimental products in your company. If it is possible, it is estimated that this drug will be able to produce the first batch of production. After hearing what this foreign doctor said, Zhang Xianke's eyes revealed a touch of shock and doubt. Before, I told you to make this batch of experimental products again. How come less than 2 days have passed? You think you can give me a new one? You didn't just talk about a test product to fool me. Zhang Xianke talked while holding the high-heeled glass in his hand, and the red wine in it exuded a very tempting smell. The foreign doctor swallowed his saliva, and then said to Zhang Xianke, Mr. Zhang, you misunderstood us. How could we possibly deceive you? May God bless me, if all I said is a lie, then let me go to the 18th level of hell after I die. Dr. Nathan, I was just joking with you. Why do you have to keep talking about such disappointment? Okay. I believe what you said is true, okay. That's great, Mr. Zhang, we will definitely succeed this time. Zhang Yuxi nodded, and then said to the people below, then pour a glass of wine for Dr. Nathan, let's drink together tonight. The two seemed to be full of hope for the first batch of medicine in the future, so they started drinking. However, they didn't know that in Lin Feng's other company, the first batch of medicine had already been produced. As long as Lin Feng was willing, then it would be possible to improve the previous technologies and immediately produce the first batch of medicine. It's just because Lin Feng didn't want people to find too many doubts too quickly. Another thing is that he didn't want to make the amount of this medicine too high, but he tried to reduce it. In this way, even if the people who bought the medicine used it at a suitable level, not too high, not too low. In this way, it can also ensure that their company can withstand the inspection from above. All of this, Lin Feng had already made plans when he was producing. But Zhang Yuxi was not optimistic. Because his experiments were too hasty, it was impossible to have as many preparations as Lin Feng. However, the proportions allocated by Lin Feng for this product that helps prolong life were matched from the first generation of the system. In the laboratory, Lin Feng called out the system, and in his mind, a very large laboratory instantly appeared. It was exactly the laboratory in his reality, but the proportions in each tube of medicine had changed. After matching, it only took a few seconds. When Lin Feng opened his eyes, he directly asked a research doctor to verify each medicine again. Sure enough, as they thought before, the proportions were just right. After testing this batch of medicine, the doctor's eyes shone brightly and he said to him in an exaggerated tone, "What's going on? Why is it so fast? And now that we have this batch, it will be much easier to get the second batch." After hearing his words, Lin Feng just smiled slightly. Then he nodded and said, "It's nothing, it just took a little thought. Now that you have got the first batch of medicine, you should produce it as soon as possible until the first batch of samples comes out. We need to take out a box later to explain our product to the media." Lin Feng's plan was proceeding in an orderly manner. Naturally, his employees and people who did the work did not fail. At that moment, several doctors knew that they should attach great importance to this batch of raw materials. After nodding, a doctor said, "Don't worry, we will make good use of this batch of ready-made medicines this time. By then, we can achieve at least 1 million sales." Because this product has not been shipped yet, even though Lin Feng's company has successfully contacted the media and is seeking to hold a press conference, when all orders do not have star power, they can only produce 1 million sales according to the guaranteed quantity. So this is relatively conservative for their company. But for other companies, this is already very good. Lin Feng nodded, and then left after giving a few more instructions. Chapter 1223, a decision that makes you regret. After he left the laboratory, one of the doctors said to another doctor, "Since this batch of experimental drugs has come out, why don't I record the data now?" Because Lin Feng's previous mixing ratio was so amazing, they thought that if this batch of drugs was really mixed, it would take another week. But they didn't know what Lin Feng did. He actually mixed the ratio of this batch of drugs in 3 days. So these doctors who were engaged in drug research also had a great admiration for Lin Feng. One of the doctors nodded and said, "Then you hurry up and record the data. We will start making drugs for this batch of drugs in 12 hours at the latest. If it's later, we will miss the time." After getting the consent of one doctor, the other doctor took the relevant data and some records based on approval, this batch of data to be recorded. But in the process of reading, he also took out another copy of the USB flash drive, intending to collect and save such a copy. As for what he wanted to save such a copy of data and what he wanted to do with it, no one knew. On the other side, inside the villa, Zhang Yuxi, who had been talking to Dr. Nathan for a long time, drank a sip of wine with some displeasure. Then he looked at the high-spirited Dr. Larson and said threateningly, "According to the news passed by one of my people, I heard that Lin Feng's company has already made the ready-made medicine. It is estimated that it will start to make medicine in less than half a day. Dr. Nathan, if we release our medicine after Lin Feng's company, then our press conference will not be too lively at that time." Zhang Yuxi's face was very bad. He put his hand on Lisa's shoulder, and the two looked very friendly. But in fact, it was because Zhang Yuxi became very angry at this time. That's why he suppressed his temper in front of Lisa, because he knew that the most important thing at this time was not to lose his temper, but to figure out how to solve this series of problems. But Lisa was a secretary. She didn't know how to persuade her boss at this time. She could only hide in the corner of the sofa trembling, letting the other party touch her, and couldn't stop. After hearing what he said, Dr. Sun was also a little bit scared, but he coughed and explained to Zhang Cation again. Mr. Zhang, I have no choice. How did I know that Lin Feng would act so quickly? If I knew, I wouldn't have felt any urgency until now. After hearing this, Zhang Cation stood up directly, which scared Lisa beside him. He pointed at Dr. Nathan in front of him and said angrily, "What do you mean? Are you saying that because I didn't put enough pressure on you before, you now think you can shirk responsibility for something you did before? If that's the case, then I will give you one last piece of advice now. That is, if you can't develop and produce the first batch of drugs within 3 days, then get out of here. My company doesn't need people like you." Dr. Nathan was originally able to come to his company because he spent a lot of money. But he didn't expect that Lin Feng would master new life-extending products faster than him. At the same time, a press conference was about to be held. But Dr. Nathan still wanted to get more benefits from Zhang Cation, so he wanted to delay. He never thought that he would miss the best time, so he was very angry at this time. At the same time, he was a little bit unsure whether he still had a chance to win Lin Feng. But Dr. Nathan was not easy to mess with. He pushed his glasses, then looked at Zhang Cation, and his eyes became a little unfriendly. "I'm just giving you face, so I'm respectful to you. But don't go too far. Don't think that I can ignore the things that happened before. I'm not that easy to talk to. You invited me here, and now you want me to get out. Do you think you are being polite?" After hearing this, Zhang Cation actually laughed. "I didn't expect that the doctor has already started to disobey my orders. You should know that. In our country and in my company, I have the final say on all decisions. Not you, a doctor. Maybe in your country, a doctor like you does have a lot of power. But it's different here. I gave you money. Then you must do things for me. If you don't do things, I will just kill you." After he said this, Dr. Nathan was very scared of his pair of very gloomy eyes. Dr. Nathan shook his hand, but still pretended to be calm. No, I don't think you would do that. Mr. Zhang, you wouldn't be so impulsive, would you? You know, I was hired by you after very normal procedures. If you do anything to me that violates our contract, then I have the right to apply for a lawyer and then file a lawsuit. So Mr. Zhang, I hope you don't make a decision that will make you regret it." After hearing what he said, Zhang Cation became more determined than his previous idea. He pushed Lisa next to him and said to her very loudly, "What are you waiting for? Are you still waiting for me to finish arguing with this guy before you go to do the work? Don't you see what we need now?" Zhang Cation continued to roar angrily. Lisa was already scared by him. But now after being scolded by him, she immediately reacted. It must be because Zhang Cation asked her to find someone to fight this lawsuit properly. But the most important thing now is not to file a lawsuit. But we should talk to Dr. Nathan about when to start producing this batch of medicine. It's not good to cause internal conflicts like this. Zhang Cation looked at his woman with anger. He slapped her directly. He almost slapped her away. "You stinky woman, what nonsense are you talking about in front of me? Just follow the orders I gave you. Is it your turn to teach me a lesson now?" I didn't expect that Mr. Zhang, who is very good to her on weekdays, would slap her directly at this time. This made Lisa stunned. But more because she felt that Zhang Cation was too ruthless. She wanted to refute. But before she could say it, Zhang Cation said quickly, "If you don't want to do this secretary job, then get out now. I have plenty of ways to let other people come." After being scolded by him, Lisa was so scared that she didn't dare to say anything more. She crawled and ran to make a phone call outside. "You'd better wait for me now." This time, Dr. Nazan was also completely frightened. He originally thought that Zhang Cation was just saying something to scare him, and there was no actual threat. But now it seems that this is not the case at all. So, he quickly ran to Zhang Cation, stopped him and said, "Mr. Zhang, I was wrong just now. I shouldn't talk to you like this, but I was too anxious for a moment, because I thought of a way, so I wanted to pass the blame. But now I know I was wrong, please give me a chance. I promise that after this time, I will definitely research that potion as soon as possible. I will definitely not let us spend too much time with them in the future." He knew that what Zhang Cation wanted to defeat now was Lin Feng's group of people. If he could make the potion immediately now, he would surely not let the person in front of him get angry again. But if he can't research what Zhang Yuxi needs within this period of time, then he will be in big trouble. Whether he wants to leave Huaxia or what he wants, he will not have a good ending. So he wanted to gain a foothold in Huaxia. He had to take the initiative to give in front of Zhang Yuxi. This time, Zhang Yuxi sneered. Dr. Nathan, I hope this is the last time I warn you like this. If it happens a second time, don't blame me for being rude. Zhang Yuxi's eyes were too cold. In the past, Dr. Nathan thought that Zhang Yuxi was just pretending to be great in front of him. But in fact, he only realized now that the other party was really a ruthless character. No wonder he dared to challenge Lin Feng's company. You know, Lin Feng's Yuxi Pharmaceutical Company, Limited is a listed company. Although Zhang Yuxi's company is not bad. But if compared, it is equivalent to a battle scale where both sides suffer losses. So this is one of the reasons why Dr. Nathan wants to delay time. First, he wants to get more benefits from Zhang Yuxi. Second, it is because he wants to find out what the first batch of products of Lin Feng's company looks like. It would be great if he could get 1 or 2 spies to get back the data. But now he has not received more accurate information. Even if there were other data sent back, it was because Zhang Yuxi sent his own employees to Lin Feng's pharmaceutical company to get back some data. Not all the data was based on this small part of the data. He couldn't research anything in a short time, so it still took a lot of time. But now Zhang Yuxi only gave him 3 days. Within these 3 days, if he couldn't get the first batch of liquid medicine out, it would probably be over. So within these 3 days, no matter what shit he got, he had to give it to Zhang Yuxi to let the other party calm down. After making up his mind, Dr. Nathan didn't care so much. Anyway, the other party just wanted his own experimental results. No matter how effective it was, as long as it was handed over, it would be the first batch. It's not that Lin Feng's company can directly turn the first batch into a source of goods and then sell it. After thinking about this, he felt a little relieved. But he didn't know that it was because of his relaxed mentality that he lost very thoroughly. After Zhang Yuxi left the villa, Dr. Nathan stayed in the villa for another half an hour. Because there were other people in this villa who gave him some instructions. After they finished explaining, he left alone. Chapter 1224 Dark Cuisine. Zhang Yuxi had just gotten into his Mercedes-Benz when he saw Lisa finish her phone call. The other party got in and said to him cautiously, Mr. Zhang, I have already given the order. If there is progress, it will be reported. So don't worry, the people in the laboratory should continue to work overtime. Zhang Yuxi nodded, and suddenly put his hand on the other party's shoulder, and then said a few words to him. Lisa opened the online ordering platform very embarrassedly. On the other side, Lin Feng didn't spend any more time on the matter of the medicine, but lived very comfortably. He couldn't imagine that his competitor, Zhang Yuxi, was busy in and out in the past 2 days, and lost his temper no less than 10 times. This was simply an impossible thing for him. But it didn't matter, anyway, his medicine would soon produce a batch of finished medicines. In the evening, Lin Feng was having dinner with Zhang Yuxi. He received a call. Lin Feng looked at the phone and said to Zhang Yuxi, who was picking food for him, Wife, I'm going to answer the phone first. You eat first, I'll be back soon. As soon as Lin Feng said this, Zhang Yuxi knew it must be something about the company, so she didn't make any trouble. She smiled at Lin Feng and said, Go quickly, I'll wait for you here, these dishes are still hot, I can wait for you for a few minutes. Lin Feng nodded and didn't say much. The call was connected. After the call was connected, Lin Feng said to the other party, Hello, is there any new progress recently? If there is no big news from the laboratory, then let the assistant do it. The person on the other end of the phone said, You don't know, this time I got the latest news. I heard that Zhang Yuxi is also starting to officially produce products. If his medicine is produced, I'm afraid there will be great tension on both sides. Lin Feng, are we really not worried that he will cause trouble for us? The person who spoke was Jiang Anmin, who started a company with Lin Feng. He and Lin Feng have been good friends for many years. So this time, Lin Feng still gave him a share of this research project. In fact, Lin Feng's funds are enough if he invests in it. It's just that he thought that the other party had been good friends with him in high school, so this time he brought the other party to share this benefit. Moreover, Lin Feng himself did not put 100% of his mind into this project. However, he had his good friend Jiang Anmin to help him. So he also believed that Zhang Anmin could do this. In this way, he would be eligible to inherit the family property. Lin Feng nodded and said, "Don't worry, Zhang Cation has no chance. Even if his star is high, I bet the product he makes will be good. In the end, it will definitely not be recognized by the market. Just wait for bad luck. If they want to speed up in these few days, then there will definitely not be much good quality." At that time, even if the press conference is held by both companies at the same time, it is not certain whose product can really sell in the end. After hearing Lin Feng's analysis, Zhang Anmin breathed a sigh of relief. After all, when he planned to join Lin Feng's project this time, he used his family's money. Although this money would not freeze his family property even if he lost it, it would still make his father doubt his business ability to some extent. After all, he had been playing for so many years. This time, he was serious for once, and he didn't want to make any mistakes. But Lin Feng had never lied to him before, and saying such a thing also gave him real security. So he believed Lin Feng. "Well, I guess you and your wife are having dinner, so I won't tell you more. I'm also going on a date here, so I'll ask the 2 assistants in our company to take care of this matter." Lin Feng nodded and hung up the phone. When he turned around, he saw Zhang Yuxi handed him a glass of water and said to him, "Come and drink it. This is a soup I made before. If it tastes good, I will make it for you in the future." Hearing that Lin Feng took it over at once, he smelled it first. Because he really didn't know whether Zhang Yuxi would make any other dark dishes since she almost blew up the other party's kitchen last time when she went to her grandfather's house, so he still had some doubts in his heart. But in front of Zhang Yuxi, he didn't show very obvious doubts. Instead, he carefully tried it and smelled the taste in the soup. It didn't seem to have any taste that was hard to swallow. So he tried to drink a sip. After drinking it, he found that the soup actually had the taste of several Chinese medicinal herbs. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes. He felt that this formula seemed to be similar to the healthcare products he had made before. Lin Feng asked, "How did you make this bowl of soup, wife? Did you use some of the ingredients on the list I wrote before to make it, but you are also thoughtful?" Lin Feng originally thought that the other party only made 1 or 2 flavors in it, but after Zhang Yuxi's words, he felt a little scared, and she said to Lin Feng, "Honey, I took almost half of the herbs on the other list you gave me and used them to make soup. But don't worry, I've tried this bowl of soup, it's fine, and it tastes good." Lin Feng nodded, and after taking a sip, he found that there was indeed an indescribable feeling. Although Zhang Yuxi's cooking skills were not very good, he did a good job in such a small matter as making soup, and it was precisely because of this bowl of soup that Zhang Yuxi made for him that he thought of another way. Since the healthcare products recommended by the company can prolong life, this thing is estimated to have to go through a period of market research before it can be determined. However, if this soup is taken out and sold under the banner of their company, it is estimated that it can also be sold at a high price. What's more special is that if this recipe is directly retained and their pharmaceutical company makes it into a special soup medicine and sells it, then this research project will definitely make a lot of money. After Lin Feng made up his mind, he immediately called another person. Chapter 1225, showing the trump card. "Hey, tell all the researchers in the company right now that I'm going to hold a video conference with them tonight." After Lin Feng finished speaking, the assistant nodded immediately. He naturally obeyed his boss's request unconditionally. "Don't worry, Mr. Lin, I will definitely give them your order. It's just that tonight, a group of them seem to have to work overtime. Is it really okay to ask them to hold a meeting?" Lin Feng nodded and said, "No problem, let them put aside the things they are doing for now. Anyway, it's not particularly urgent, as long as it is done within these few days. The time given by Lin Feng is enough. After all this is not a difficult job at all, so those scientific and technological researchers don't need to bear much pressure. There is still time for a meeting tonight." After Lin Feng finished his meal in the evening, everyone connected the video conference call. Lin Feng said to them, "I overlooked one thing before, that is, I only thought about the importance of being able to prolong life, but I forgot that it can also be made into a health product. Now, Lin Feng has a big plan again." Everyone pricked up their ears, afraid to miss Lin Feng's suggestion. At this time, Lin Feng said, "Before, when I was at home, my wife made me a pot of soup, and the soup just happened to be blended with several medicinal herbs that can prolong life, and after I drank it, I felt that the soup was very good. If we can directly freeze-dry this soup and add a preservative for storage, then this trip will really become a safe product after buying it back. Not only can it be delicious and healthy, but it can also prolong life, which is much more valuable than those red dates, longans, and wolfberries. After Lin Feng said this, everyone couldn't help but nodded. However, everyone still complained in their hearts. After all, although Lin Feng had a beautiful woman to accompany him, but these researchers, they are still soaking in the laboratory all day long. Let alone girlfriends, even if they get together with their family members, they have to look at specific times. It's so good for Lin Feng, he can drink the soup cooked by his wife anytime and anywhere. Everyone was envious and could only sigh, thinking that they had to finish the things Lin Feng had told them as soon as possible. Only in this way could they take a vacation. One of the researchers stood up and asked Lin Feng, "I wonder if you can tell us the medicines you mentioned, Mr. Lin, or wait until you have prepared a proportion of them and then let us make them according to the proportions." Lin Feng shook his head. After all, this time it is different from ordinary medicines, and it is not something that these researchers can copy casually. This requires another group of nutrition experts to identify it and prove that there are no other problems in this soup. Only after it can be truly classified as a health product and nutrition product can it be mass-produced. So this opinion is just a reminder to these researchers tonight. Don't worry, before you produce this batch of medicines, I will not let you make anything else, you can just produce medicines with peace of mind. Lin Feng's words made them all temporarily relieved. After a pause, Lin Feng said to them, "Don't worry. You stay in the lab these few days. I'll send you mooncakes. The Mid-Autumn Festival is coming soon. In a few days, Lin Feng will probably take Zhang Yuxi home again, but he will not forget the hard-working researchers in the lab. So he will definitely prepare gifts for them. This is an employee benefit." After making the call, Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who was already sleeping on the bed. Lin Feng walked over and hugged her, then said, "Thanks to the bowl of soup you cooked for me tonight, I can think of more company products. So if this product is really on the market, I will definitely reward you well." Zhang Yuxi hugged Lin Feng in return and said to him comfortingly, "Husband, what is the point of this between us? As long as I can help you, it's fine. And I didn't mean to do it. It's all thanks to you. You're so smart that you can think of it. Otherwise, if it was someone else, even if I cooked soup for him every day, he wouldn't know." Lin Feng narrowed his eyes, looked very threatening, stared at her and said, "What do you mean? Do you want to cook soup for others?" Lin Feng's words looked like he was angry. Zhang Yuxi quickly shook her head and said, "How is that possible? Of course I don't want to cook soup for others. I will only cook soup for you in my life, don't worry." After hearing what she said, Lin Feng calmed down a little, but he still looked a little unhappy. Zhang Yuxi quickly sat up and patted Lin Feng's shoulders, and said with a look of admitting her fault, "Husband, I was wrong, isn't that enough? I promise that I will never say such words that make you unhappy again, okay? Just give me a chance and forgive me." Seeing Zhang Yuxi acting like a spoiled child, Lin Feng really couldn't stand it anymore, so he poked her forehead with his hand and said to her, "Don't make such jokes again in the future, I won't forgive you again, did you get it? Don't worry, husband, I promise that I will never say such words again in the future. Otherwise, I will never be able to eat the delicious dishes you cook again." This matter was just over. The two slept until dawn. After getting up, Lin Feng saw an email on his mobile phone, and he looked at Zhang Yuxi, who was still sleeping next to him. She was really too tired last night. So, let her continue to sleep for a while. Go out to reply to the message of this email. When he got outside, after discovering the content inside, Lin Feng was a little surprised, because he didn't expect that in his rival company, they could develop another kind of healthcare product that was in opposition to them so quickly. The key is that this time is too fast. Could it be that Zhang Yuxi and his group of people really have any trump cards? If this is really the case, then Lin Feng has to send someone to find out the news. After getting this news, Lin Feng knocked on the table beside him. Because he didn't know what was going on with Zhang Yuxi's company. He believed that the message sent to him by his subordinates was true and could not deceive himself. But he just felt it was very strange. Logically speaking, Zhang Yuxi's company did not have such great ability to achieve such an achievement in a short time. But such a thing happened. Should he believe it or not? Lin Feng fell into silence. Because it was about to go public, and there was a press conference to be held, and there were things he had to remember, These actions were all related to his competing company. So he really wanted to get this matter clear. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.